Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Hokage I, Naruto becomes stronger by God reward working system. Chapter 21. Not only that, Naruto also got a few other ninjutsu from the other two ninjas who were monitoring him, but those two Anbu didn't know many ninjutsu either, so they should be civilian ninjas. One was a fire-attributed ninja, and the other was a thunder and water-attributed ninja. Naruto got fire style. Flame whirlwind from the fire-attributed ninja, which is a B-level ninjutsu that can form a whirlwind of flames. The other one is fire style. Dragon fire technique, which is a C-level ninjutsu. The caster can spray out a straight line of flames, and then it's gone. He knows a little bit of physical skills, but it has no effect on Naruto. I don't know if it's because of the time travel, but Naruto's current chakra attributes are wind, thunder, water, fire, and earth. The other ninja with both thunder and water attributes is very lucky. Thunder style combined with water style is extremely powerful. This ninja codenamed Black Tiger became a special Jonin by relying on the thunder and water combination ninjutsu. As for Maple Leaf, he is an elite ninja at the level of Chunin. That lightning style ninja knows a few ninjutsu, including lightning style, ground walk, lightning style, thunder ranbu, and a few water style, water tornado. His famous ninjutsu is the combination of lightning style, thunder ranbu and water tornado. Lightning style, thunder ranbu can be combined with water style, water tornado to form a thunderstorm water hurricane dance. The next night, Naruto sat with Sasuke and Rock Lee to celebrate Sasuke becoming the top student of this class. The three of them squatted in front of the fire and were grilling meat, but Sasuke was obviously a little unhappy. After being with Naruto for a long time, his horizons have broadened a lot. He no longer compares himself with the group of students in the ninja school. In Naruto's words, if you compare yourself with them, then becoming a few senior ninjas in the future will be your limit. You are still a long way from becoming a truly strong person. Throughout history, famous ninjas have emerged at a very young age. Naruto cited many people's deeds. Sasuke and Rock Lee were shocked. From the first generation of Hokage, the second generation, the three ninjas, the fourth generation, a certain white-haired man with kidney deficiency, and even Uchiha Itachi. This instantly poured a basin of cold water on the two who were a little inflated, but Naruto asked Sasuke to keep it secret. Although some information can be found in the library, there are some contents that Naruto cannot know now. The two also knew that Naruto had many secrets, but they didn't ask. One day Naruto would tell them. Sasuke, it feels so good to be the chief student. Xiao Li said with a smile. Humph, if this guy hadn't hidden his strength, how could I have become the chief student? Sasuke snorted coldly and turned his head to the side. Xiao Li, how about you? How was your performance? Naruto smiled and handed the barbecue to the two of them. Woohoo, delicious. Xiao Li took the food handed over by Naruto, and then ate it with big mouthfuls, and then said, as for me, I am probably in the middle of the class. What, you are only at the middle level? Sasuke exclaimed in surprise. You know, Lee can fight him to a draw. Even in close combat, Lee can suppress Sasuke with his physical skills, so that Sasuke can't even use ninjutsu. Lee's talent in physical skills is still good, not just relying on hard work. If hard work can be considered a genius, then Lee is a hardworking genius. With the help of Naruto, Lee can indeed be called a genius in physical skills. Naruto said that you should hide your strength. As a ninja, you should hide your true strength so that others cannot obtain your information. You should be able to make the final decision at the critical moment, and you must have multiple trump cards. This is the guarantee for your survival. Maybe because he has been with Naruto for a long time, Xiao Li has also learned some of Naruto's strange ideas, for example, never let the enemy know how many trump cards you have. Xiao Li's combat power is usually less than a quarter of his own. All his strength is one trump card, but it is only in ordinary state. Xiao Li who uses the power technique is another trump card. At this time, Xiao Li can match the level of Hyuga Neji. Xiao Li's strongest state is Xiao Li who uses the 6 styles, which is his triple trump card, but in his opinion it is not enough, because Naruto may be hiding more. Sasuke was a little shocked, and couldn't help but start thinking. It doesn't seem excessive for a ninja to hide his strength and have several trump cards. This can't help but make he ponder deeply. his eyes flickering, and he decided that in the days to come, he would also hide his strength. After eating and drinking, the few of them started their daily training again. Soon Sasuke returned home early, and then the two of them began to go home one after another. Naruto walked on the road, shuttling back and forth quickly, and soon returned home. He opened the door with the key, threw his coat on the bed, and then slowly walked into the bathroom door. Soon after Naruto finished washing up, he lay on the bed. He was not calm at the moment, because he was already 7 years old this year. In another year, it would be the day when the Uchiha family would be destroyed. He didn't know what impact this would have on Sasuke. With his current strength, he was afraid that he could not do anything. Forget it. Don't think about it anymore, things will work out when the time comes. Naruto quickly closed his eyes and fell asleep. Little devil, come here. Naruto suddenly heard a voice, which made him alert instantly. He observed the scene around him and was a little surprised. It was as dark as an underground cell. It was like a sewer, which made Naruto a little familiar. Looking up, it was a huge face. Who was it? Seeing this, how could Naruto not know that he had come to the space where the Nine Tails was? Little brat, let me out, I can give you power. I have seen your performance in the past few years. Let me go, and you will have invincible power in the world. The Nine Tails' slightly bewitching voice came. Naruto frowned and looked at everything around him. This dark place made him a little unhappy. This was his spiritual space, and he was the master. Naruto began to mobilize the huge spiritual power in his body. As the spiritual power passed, the surroundings began to change. The blood-red underground dark prison began to become different. The only thing that did not change was the cage holding the Nine Tails. This brat, Kyuubi, was a little shocked. This brat actually had such a strong mental power and control ability. This brat made him feel strange, which was why he didn't pull Naruto into the mental space before. Kuroma, don't waste your energy. If you could give me invincible power, you wouldn't be trapped in my body. Naruto said slowly. His tone was very calm, and there was no surprise at all. Kyuubi was instantly shocked. He was not shocked by Naruto's words, but by Naruto's shout of Kuroma. Ding dang, Kyuubi's claws hit the iron fence that trapped him, making a loud noise. Little devil, how do you know my name? Juwei was extremely surprised at this moment, and was also very confused. He could say that this little devil grew up under his watch. Although he had many evildoers and some strange things about him, how did he know my name? Answer me. The nine-tailed fox hit the iron fence again, making a clanging sound. The nine-tailed fox's face became even more ferocious. I have foreseen everything, Kurama. Naruto's sky-blue eyes revealed a gleam of wisdom. His white and red coat resembled the divine robe of the fourth Hokage, but the style was different. The divine robe was not only worn by the Hokage, but the divine robe used exclusively by the Hokage had special stripes on it. Naruto stood calmly in front of the Nine Tails. Even the Nine Tails was shocked by Naruto's calm and deep gaze. Could it be that Naruto had some trump card? Little brat, what do you know? What the Nine Tails didn't know was that Naruto was actually panicking, but he had to control his momentum, otherwise it would be difficult to negotiate. Seeing the Nine Tails' obviously suppressed arrogance, Naruto knew that the Nine Tails had started to make up his mind, and at this moment, Naruto knew that he had taken the initiative. Naruto did not answer the Nine Tails' words. Instead, he changed the subject and talked about another thing. Kuroma, what do you think of this ninja world? The man and the fox stared at each other's eyes, and the atmosphere became tense for a while. Without waiting for the Nine Tails to speak, Naruto started talking to himself. This ninja world is in chaos, the ninja nobles are high above, and they are constantly fighting each other for their own interests. There are conspiracies everywhere, and this world is twisted and perverted. Naruto became excited in an instant. Young children are sent to the battlefield, and civilians have no power to resist. They are all poisoned by the war between ninjas. There are also some people who capture the tailed beasts in the name of peace, and they say it is for peace. In fact, it has nothing to do with the tailed beasts, and the tailed beasts have never harmed civilians. When Naruto said this, the Nine Tails couldn't hold it anymore, and slammed its two claws heavily on the fence, making a loud noise. This sentence really touched the heart of the Nine Tails. He was just resting when he met two powerful ninjas. His sleep was disturbed, and he was not allowed to resist as a person, no, beast. In the end, he was caught by a weirdo, who said in a beautiful name that the Nine Tails' power is too strong and he must be sealed. The Nine Tails mentality was simply blown away. After witnessing the powerful power of the tailed beasts, other villages also fought against the power of the tailed beasts. In the end, Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama captured all the other tailed beasts. The reason why Naruto said this was actually to gain the favor of the Nine Tails. The Nine Tails did have a little affection for him as Naruto expected. The order of this world is in chaos. Ninjas do not produce anything. The nobles rule the world. The common people are the victims of this world. The tailed beasts have also become tools of some conspirators. Naruto was still talking about this sick world in his eyes. Kyuubi's expression gradually changed, and his claws slammed heavily on the fence. Enough, little brat, who are you? After Naruto's words, the Nine Tails no longer regarded Naruto as a little brat who could be fooled at will. I was born with destiny, I am who I am, Uzumaki Naruto. I want to change the world. Kurama. Naruto took another step forward, looking at the Nine Tails with sharp eyes, without any fear. He really wanted to change the world. He was given the ability of God rewards hard work, maybe he was destined to do something. Whether it is destruction or rebirth. The Nine Tails was stunned. At this moment, his thoughts drifted far away. He recalled when he was a little fox, a kind old man gently stroked his hair, and said, Kuruma, my time is running out. One day, you will be in a completely different way, with your own names, different from in my body. You will get the right guidance. What is the real power? Kurama. Strength is not for fighting, but for making the world a better place. Naruto woke up the Nine Tails with a roar. At this moment, he recalled what the old man Six Paths said, which deeply shocked him. At this moment, Naruto's small figure seemed to overlap with the old man Six Paths, and the Nine Tails murmured, could he be the person the old man Six Paths was talking about? Ju Lama, you watched me grow up, why do I know these things? You may be very surprised, we are all blessed by fate. Since I was a child, I have had many pictures in my mind, and there are other pictures. These pictures tell me that this world is sick and I have foreseen the future. In the future war, I succeeded, or maybe I failed, because I didn't make much change in the ninja world. The world is still the same as before. The lives of civilians may be much better, but this is definitely not the credit of the ninja. Naruto said slowly. He did not explain his origins, because it was too shocking. This world was created by the author, which was too absurd. Naruto knew that if he wanted to succeed and change the world, he had to get the support of the Nine Tails. Kurama, we are partners, aren't we? We are one now. Naruto's words instantly made the Nine Tails' body tremble slightly. Does he regard me as a partner? Shut up, kid, we're not partners. Go out, I'm tired. Kyuubi lay down again and pretended to close his eyes. Naruto wanted to say something, but the next moment, Naruto was sent out of the spiritual space. Watching Naruto being sent out of the spiritual space, Kyuubi slowly opened his eyes and murmured, this little ghost. Is he from the future? Or is it a prophecy? Although he couldn't calm down for a long time, the nine-tailed fox was not so easily moved. Naruto suddenly opened his eyes. His expression was a little helpless. Except for not introducing that he was from Earth, he basically didn't hide anything in what he said, and he didn't have any ill will towards the nine-tailed fox. Naruto knew that the nine-tailed fox had the ability to sense goodwill. He could easily know whether you had any ill will towards him, and if you wanted to gain the power of the nine-tailed fox, you had to be open with the nine-tailed fox. Naruto also knew that it would take more than a day to influence the nine-tailed fox, and the nine-tailed fox should have been touched by him. At this moment, Naruto thought of Orochimaru, who was even more powerful than his own mouth-to-mouth, and could make his subordinates loyal. Although the previous words were a bit of a bluff, they were actually Naruto's inner thoughts. This world cannot achieve peace by fighting, and it must be solved from the root. Solve it from the perspective of ideology and social structure. The war in this world is essentially caused by the imbalance of resources. Realizing the rational allocation of resources is the correct way to reduce wars, but who will easily give up their own resources and damage their own interests? The peace of Senju Hashirama is too superficial, and so is Uzumaki Nagato. In essence, they are all using combat power to threaten the world, so that the world dare not have wars again. This is the case with distributing the tailed beasts, and the same is true for collecting the tailed beasts to form the 10 tails. They are all threats of combat power, but when the combat power disappears, what should be done? Never underestimate a person's desire. Since he had been to the spiritual space once, Naruto could freely enter and exit the spiritual space where the 9 tails was imprisoned with his huge spiritual power. During this period, Naruto kept fooling the 9 tails in his thoughts. Oh no, how can this be called fooling? This should be called winning over comrades, so-called like-minded partners. During this period, Naruto also successfully transformed the 9 tails living space. It was no longer a dark underground sewer, but looked sunny. However, it just couldn't get rid of the iron fence of the sealed space. However, Naruto still had a way. For example, Naruto used his huge spiritual power to successfully expand the iron cage where the 9 tails was imprisoned many times. This made the 9 tails activity space much larger. Although he had never made the 9 tails return to his heart, the relationship between the two had also eased a lot. Naruto knew that it was difficult to build feelings for some things without experiencing them together. The relationship with the 9 tails needed to be developed slowly. At least now, Naruto and the 9 tails have reached an agreement to regularly replace the 9 tails living pictures. This is simple, just like changing a theme. The benefit Naruto gained was that the 9 tails no longer interfered with Naruto's chakra, which instantly increased Naruto's chakra by a large amount. Because Naruto usually had to divide a part of his chakra to prevent the 9 tails from attacking, now that there was no 9 tails' interference, the amount of chakra increased a lot. Naruto's control over chakra also increased a lot. Naruto tested that the power of his ninjutsu increased by 30%. Time is still passing slowly. After a vacation that was neither too long nor too short, Naruto was already a sophomore student, and Lee was now a third-year student. On this day, Lee happily ran to Naruto and said, "Naruto, Teacher Kai accepted me as his disciple." Naruto was also very happy to see Lee happy. As for Might Guy, the 8 gates of ninja in his hand was still good, but Naruto did not intend to go the path of pure physical skills. He was not like other time travelers who had to plan the 8 gates of ninja. He also knew that there was a reason why this technique was not popularized. Might Guy kicked the 7 ninja swordsmen to pieces, and the case was there, but the 8 gates of ninja was basically practiced by Might Guy alone, and the result was imaginable. Naruto's final idea was to combine the power of immortal arts to create an immortal version of ninjutsu. This was prepared to fight against the Otsutsuki clan, because in front of the Otsutsuki clan, ninjutsu basically did not work. In the later period, almost everyone in the Otsutsuki clan had a pair of samsara eyes, and the samsara eyes could absorb the chakra contained in the ninjutsu. Without the chakra, the ninjutsu basically disappeared. This is why the frequency of ninjutsu used in Boruto is so low. Xiao Li, Might Guy is a very good teacher. I think he is very suitable for you. Well, it should be suitable for you. Naruto was not worried that Xiao Li could not adapt to Might Guy's rhythm, because the two of them were simply cast in the same mold. Sasuke was a little silent at this time, holding his hands and wondering what he was thinking. It seems that the Uchiha family is in a recent situation. When that time comes, let's see if we can help Sasuke save some Uchiha civilians, which can be regarded as continuing the bloodline of the Uchiha clan. Otherwise, according to Sasuke's current personality, he may not even find a girlfriend. If it weren't for Sakura's final insistence, the Uchiha bloodline might be cut off. Uchiha Back Mountain River, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi are talking. Brother Shisui, the tribe members are too ignorant now. They have already started to openly declare rebellion at the gathering. Itachi said worriedly, while also showing disdain for some of the tribe members. Itachi, you are the most talented person I have ever met. Uchiha needs guidance. Those people do not represent all Uchiha people. Our existence is the bridge between Uchiha and the village. I believe that as long as we work hard, we can find a way for the family and the village to coexist. You can also imagine Sasuke living happily in the village, right? Shisui said with a smile. The young man in front of him had too much on his shoulders. If the final situation was too bad, he could only rely on Kotoamatsukami. Shisui slowly touched his eyes. Uchiha Itachi saw it and said, Brother Shisui, do you want to use Koto Amatsukami? Itachi, it's not that step yet. If I really can't stop the family, I will ask Lord Hokage and Lord Danzo to use the power of Koto Amatsukami. Uchiha Shisui said slowly. Brother Shisui, some people are really too ignorant, don't they know that doing this will get Konoha into bigger trouble? At that time, a war will break out and affect the peace of Konoha. Uchiha Itachi said coldly, with a fierce light in his eyes. Itachi has now been influenced by the third generation, but Itachi was only affected by the will of the third generation. All of this was instilled by the third generation. Shisui did not notice Itachi's abnormality, and said comfortingly, maybe some people in the clan are ignorant, but this is what we have to work hard for. Everyone has an imperfect side, but most people in the family are still very good. There are many Uchiha ninjas, but there are more ordinary Uchiha people. They are not affected by the opening of the Sharingan. They are warm, generous, and kind, and are no different from ordinary villagers in Konoha. Just like Izumi and Sasuke, aren't they the ones we protect? Uchiha Shisui tried to use the existence of some people to prove that they were worthy of being protected. Shisui knew that Izumi and Sasuke were the most important people to him. Thinking of Sasuke, Itachi's face clearly showed a smile. Shisui was also very happy to see Itachi's smile, but he ignored the extent of brainwashing of Itachi by the third generation. In fact, Itachi was influenced by the third generation when he was very young. When the third generation commented that Itachi had the thinking of a Hokage, Itachi was only a few years old at that time. It was simply a flattery. Later, Itachi was sent to the Anbu when he was very young, and was inadvertently influenced by the third generation again. In the end, his entire thinking was influenced by the third generation. All methods are based on the direction of the village. This is the calculation of the shrewd third generation, even treating Naruto in this way, but Naruto's thoughts have long been fixed and it is difficult to be influenced by the third generation. This technique of controlling people is also the reason why the third generation thinks he has the upper hand over Danzo. Danzo will never know the power of human hearts. Danzo uses the power of cursed seals to ensure the loyalty of his subordinates, while he uses the power of human hearts. In the few years since he became Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen has mastered this set to perfection. Only a few people know about the undercurrents in the village, and at this moment Naruto is happily experimenting with his new ninjutsu. He really liked the Earth-style ninjutsu, Earth Submarine, and with the help of God's reward for hard work, Naruto's transformation of the ninjutsu went very smoothly. He could use God's reward for hard work's ability to constantly modify the proficiency of the ninjutsu. After Naruto had some understanding of Earth style, the progress improved linearly, and finally formed this one that Naruto was satisfied with. Earth style ninjutsu, Nuclear Submarine. The original Earth style ninjutsu, Earth Submarine, used chakra to change the properties of the soil and move freely through the mud. In the original work, Naruto had drilled through the ground during the Chunin exam, but Naruto's understanding of Earth-style ninjutsu was too shallow, and the traces left were also very large. Naruto can now be regarded as a standard Earth Escape ninja. Earth Escape Nuclear Submarine, as the name implies, is to form an Earth escape creation similar to a submarine, and finally lie in a nuclear submarine to freely shuttle underground. Of course, due to Naruto's transformation, this ninjutsu did not improve the level of ninjutsu, because although his speed has increased, the amount of chakra consumed has increased several times. This ninjutsu barely exceeds the scope of sea level, but it has no effect on actual combat, and it consumes a lot of chakra. But does chakra put pressure on Naruto? Do you really think Chatanla is joking? Hokage Office. Konoha F4 is discussing the relationship between Uchiha and the village. Hiruzen, Uchiha problems must be solved quickly. Have you forgotten what your teacher taught you? Uchiha cannot be trusted. Danzo said loudly. He was wrapped in bandages all over his body. His other eye was also tightly wrapped in bandages. He exuded a gloomy aura. However, the three generations had already gotten used to Danzo's appearance. Danzo, don't be so intense, Uchiha is also a member of the village. The third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of cigarette, exhaled thick smoke, and said slowly. Udatain Kaharu on the side walked up and said slowly, Danzo, the third Hokage has a lot to take into account, and the Uchiha issue still needs long-term consideration. Shaochun, you can't say that. Danzo is also for the peace of Konoha, and Uchiha is a factor of instability. Seeing that Mitomen rarely supported him, Danzo's ugly face suddenly became much better. Hiruzen, I am the root of Konoha. Let me deal with these restless Uchiha guys. For the peace of the village, necessary measures are indispensable. Danzo continued to argue with reason, his voice dull. Danzo, please restrain yourself. Do you really think I don't know about your connection with Orochimaru? We can discuss the issue of the Uchiha clan later. Shisui and Itachi are already trying their best, and the Uchiha are also members of the village. The Sandai still looked like a good old man. Danzo slammed the door and left in dissatisfaction. He turned around and looked at the Sandai and said, Hiruzen, you will regret it. Danzo, I am the Hokage. The third Hokage said this lightly, and Danzo's inner anger and dissatisfaction rose again. Returning to the root, Danzo continued to vent his inner anger. The root ninja on the side saw Danzo's look and couldn't help but stepped forward to ask, Danzo-sama, what happened? Danzo glared at him with dissatisfied eyes, full of murderous intent, which instantly scared the inquiring root ninja. He felt cold all over, and the next moment Danzo's murderous intent instantly restrained. Call Uchiha Shisui. The root ninja swallowed and said tremblingly, yes. Then he retreated in a hurry. He was a newcomer. He had heard that Lord Danzo was a very strange person. Now it seems that he is really too young and does not believe the words of his predecessors. When there was no one around, Danzo continued to vent his inner dissatisfaction. Sarutobi, you old man, you are a whore and you still pretend to be a saint. Don't you just want me to take the blame? Humph. As long as I can get the power of the Mangekyo, I will become Hokage sooner or later. Don't be so proud for too long, Hiruzen. Danzo's red eyes slowly calmed down, and only Danzo's figure was left in the dark basement. He already knew that Uchiha Shisui had awakened the power of the Mangekyo. This is the power of that man. It is known as the power of God. He knows how powerful that power is. Danzo's dark voice came out softly from the darkness. Shisui, don't blame me, blame yourself for awakening this cursed power. Mirror, your grandson will be here to accompany you soon. Danzo's figure slowly disappeared into the darkness. Uchiha Shisui, Lord Danzo wants to see you. A masked man appeared. He was a root ninja. He found Uchiha Shisui on the training ground. Danzo-sama, I know. Shisui stopped training and prepared to follow the root ninja to the root base. The two of them shuttled through the woods and finally came to a tree. They tapped it a few times in a regular manner, and suddenly a row of stairs appeared on the ground. The two walked down with ease, and it turned out to be a root base. After walking for a few minutes, the root ninja next to Shisui disappeared. After Shisui opened the door, he saw Danzo standing in front of him and hurriedly knelt on one knee. Lord Danzo, Shisui, how is the Uchiha situation recently? Danzo asked softly, with a hint of urgency in his tone. Shisui did not notice Danzo's abnormality. Sorry, Master Danzo, the Uchiha are now divided into two factions. One group suggests using force to seize power, while the other group is in favor of negotiating with the village. Just give me a little more time, and I believe the problem can be solved. Uchiha Shisui's three Magatama eyes spun rapidly, and finally the three Magatama merged together to form a four-cornered dart shape. This is the Mangekyo Sharingan. Master Danzo, if things get really bad, please allow me to use the most powerful illusion, Koto Amatsukami. I will use Koto Amatsukami to control Patriarch Fugaku and put an end to the rebellion. Uchiha will always be the village's Uchiha. Uchiha Shisui said in a deep voice, his tone full of determination and pleading. Shisui, I believe you, but you better hand over your eyes. Danzo slowly approached Shisui. Shisui didn't expect that Danzo would attack him directly. Shisui was shocked instantly, but Danzo really underestimated Shisui's strength. Shisui still maintained the power of the Mangekyo and directly fixed Danzo with an illusion. I'm sorry, Master Danzo, Uchiha will not be a threat to the village. Although Shisui was shocked by Danzo's behavior, his blind loyalty made him have no hatred towards Danzo. Suddenly, Shisui covered his eyes. One of his eyes had been dug out by Danzo. Shisui, don't blame me. Blame Uchiha. I'm worried about you. Even if you stop this rebellion, there's no guarantee that Uchiha won't rebel next time. Your vision is still too narrow. I'll save your eyes. Shisui covered his eyes in pain. Root ninjas began to appear around Danzo, all of them were Jonin and elite Jonin. Shisui was very shocked. He couldn't imagine how Danzo escaped from his illusion. This was an illusion blessed by the Mangekyo. But right now, the most important thing is to escape. Wind Style. Vacuum Big Ball. The powerful Wind Style ninjutsu was released from Danzo's hands. Danzo's Wind Style ninjutsu attainments were very high. He could be said to be the strongest Wind Style ninja. Wind Style. Vacuum Wave. Continuous Wind Style ninjutsu was released from Danzo's hands, and Uchiha Shisui's figure gradually turned into dozens of phantoms. This was Uchiha Shisui's famous ninjutsu, and it was also the origin of his instant body Shisui. He instantly turned into dozens of phantoms, and his real body changed between the phantoms. Very difficult. Wind Style. Thousand Faces of Wind. Danzo released hundreds of small wind blades to hit Uchiha Shisui, hitting Shisui's clone. Danzo was very experienced and figured out a way in the blink of an eye to use the tiny wind blades to compress Shisui's space. Other root ninjas also launched attacks. But in front of Shisui, root ninjas were constantly killed. Shisui's ability to instantly move was simply too terrifying. A root ninja's sword slashed across Shisui, but it turned out to be a phantom. However, when the phantom slashed at him, it actually directly cut his shoulder. If he hadn't instinctively moved back 2 centimeters, his entire shoulder might have been chopped off. Be careful of his instant body. He shouted hurriedly. Danzo couldn't help but look ugly when he saw that so many people couldn't take down Shisui's one eye. Danzo put one hand on top of the other hand and pulled hard. The bandage tied on the hand was actually torn off. 3 scarlet Sharingan were revealed. There was also a mark on it that it had been closed. This moment made Shisui understand. Danzo's most fundamental purpose was to seize the blood limit of their Uchiha family. He also understood why Danzo could break his own Mangekyo illusion before. Izanagi, how do you know the forbidden technique of our Uchiha clan? Uchiha Shisui questioned. This is a forbidden technique that only the elite Jonin of the Uchiha clan can master, and there are only a few elite Jonin of the Uchiha clan. There is no doubt that Danzo's Izanagi's forbidden technique must have been stolen. This also made Shisui understand that Danzo has been planning for the Uchiha clan for a long time. It's not like what Danzo said before, everything is for the peace of Konoha. Shisui, it's over now. Don't struggle anymore. Wind Style. Vacuum Wave. Dozens of wind style whirlwinds hit Shisui. Shisui used his instant body illusion again and launched the ninjutsu Thunder Dance. Wind Style restrains Thunder Style. Shisui took the opportunity to break out of the encirclement of the root ninja and ran outside. When passing by a forest, Shisui inadvertently left a secret code. Chase. Don't let him run away. Danzo said in a deep voice, Shisui must be kept here. The ninjas around Danzo turned into black shadows and chased after Shisui. When Uchiha Shisui was fighting the root, Naruto suddenly opened his eyes. He used Kagura's mind's eye to sense that a large group of people were fighting. This dark chakra, is it the root? Did Shisui lose his eyes? Naruto created a shadow clone and stayed there. The real body used earth escape technique and submerged into the soil, and kept rushing towards the direction where the battle broke out. In a small forest, Shisui was finally caught up. Shisui, you can't leave today. Danzo said coldly. The Sharingan on his arm was particularly eye-catching. Danzo, does the third Hokage know about this? I won't let you succeed, you conspirator. Shisui looked at Danzo and said, every Sharingan on Danzo's arm represents the life of his family members. They did not die on the battlefield, but died at the hands of their own people in the village. How ironic. Feeling the remaining chakra in his body, Shisui's heart sank. Danzo was a cage-level warrior, and there were many Jonin around him. It seemed that he would be unable to escape this time. The remaining Sharingan must not fall into Danzo's hands. Suddenly, a powerful force rose from Shisui's body, and a green skeleton formed by chakra appeared in front of everyone. This is the exclusive ability of the Mangekyo, Susanoo. Danzo's heart sank, and he said, come on, all of you, he doesn't have much chakra left. After listening to Danzo's words, the remaining root ninjas calmed down a lot. They began to attack Shisui, but many people were still killed in front of Susanoo. Shisui's Susanoo has the ability to attack from a distance. Yashikani no Magatama, continuously shooting out green attacks, every time being touched, either dead or injured. This instantly made the root ninja retreat, but there are still some who have been trained by Danzo to kill weapons without the slightest fear and are still consuming Shisui's chakra. The first stage of Susanoo cannot protect the whole body perfectly. Thinking of the belief in his heart, Shisui's remaining eye began to shed tears of blood. Susanoo suddenly began to change, becoming taller, and flesh and blood began to appear, and it actually reached the third stage of Susanoo in one fell swoop. The evolved Susanoo is even more terrifying, which makes Danzo unable to help but activate the power of Izanagi to exchange injuries with Shisui. But in front of the third stage of Susanoo, Danzo was a little restrained. Fruit fly, Danzo yelled, and then launched the wind ninjutsu again. The other ninjas also began to attack Shisui. At this time, a root ninja had approached Shisui without knowing when. Shisui directly knocked him away, and his arm was slightly scratched by the ninja just now. Poison. Shisui finally understood that the previous attacks were all foreshadowing for the ninja named Fruit Fly in front of him. Yasukani no Magatama swept away, causing a huge explosion in an instant. The place was instantly covered with smoke. When everyone reacted again, Shisui had disappeared. Don't chase him. He's been poisoned by the fruit fly. Unless Tsunade comes to rescue him personally, he's dead. Danzo looked at the root ninjas around him and couldn't help but feel distressed. He had trained these people with great difficulty, and now so many of them had been sacrificed in the encirclement and suppression of Shisui. They really underestimated him. But it was worth it. Shisui's Mangekyo ability was simply too powerful. At this time, Naruto, who had been hiding, also began to rush in another direction, but Uchiha Shisui did not get rid of his perception. Elsewhere, Uchiha Itachi had seen Shisui's secret code, which meant the old place. Itachi began to quickly rush to a place only he and Shisui knew. When Itachi arrived, Shisui was already waiting here. When Itachi saw Shisui's eyes, he was startled and said, "Brother Shisui. Are you okay?" "Itachi, I don't have much time. Listen to me, the conflict between Konoha and the family has reached an inevitable level. From now on, I will leave everything to you. I believe that if it is you, you should be able to resolve the conflict between the village and the family." Shisui directly dug out the remaining eye and handed it to me, Itachi. "Oh, Itachi, be careful of Danzo." Shisui decided to do one last thing for the boy. If he wanted to achieve his goal, strength was essential. This was also the truth he felt in this battle. Then he fell towards the river behind him. Water stop. Itachi felt a darkness coming, and a feeling of extreme grief rose in his heart. The three Magatama in his eyes suddenly turned into a dart shape. The great pain caused Itachi's Sharingan to begin to evolve, and a tear of blood dripped down Itachi's eyes. "I will inherit yours." Itachi then took a deep look at the turbulent river. He also knew that Shisui's body could not be left behind. On the other side, Naruto was already waiting downstream. He successfully fished Shisui's body out through his modified water-style nuclear submarine. Now he has fallen into a coma, and the toxins are destroying his body. "Ju Lama, help me save him, we need manpower if we want to change the world." Naruto hurriedly began to call the nine tails in his body. "It's so noisy. You little brat, please, Kurama," Naruto said again. Feeling the sincerity in Naruto's tone, a force passed through Naruto's body to Shisui's body. Shisui's body instantly got better. This is only the young nine tails in Naruto's body, which has a very strong healing ability. In the original work, Might Guy who turned into charcoal was saved by Naruto. In fact, because of a part of the power of the six paths, the simple nine tails could not save Might Guy in that state. Now the power of the nine tails directly killed the poisonous insects in Shisui's body, and began to repair Shisui's body with the power of Yang. "Thank you, Kurama," Naruto laughed. During this period, Kurama did not completely agree with him. In addition to not interfering with his training, he occasionally helped him recover his strength, making him energetic after training. The nine-tailed fox always denied that he was helping Naruto, saying that he was only helping Naruto to regain his freedom as soon as possible. Naruto promised to set the nine-tailed fox free in 10 years. For the tailed beasts, 10 years might pass in a nap. In fact, the nine-tailed fox had begun to waver. Well, where am I? I'm fine. Uchiha Shisui slowly opened his eyes, but they were empty, without any light. Suddenly he felt someone approaching, and he quickly became alert. With just a slight shake, his body began to ache. Although the nine tails helped to heal him, he had overdrawn too much before. Don't be afraid. I saved you. This is outside the village. Don't worry, I'm not Danzo's man. A clear voice sounded. It sounded like a young man, but now he can't see. Who are you? As a ninja, Shisui would not trust Naruto so easily. Who am I? I am just an orphan, or a demon fox. Naruto said self-deprecatingly. When Naruto said he was a demon fox, the nine tails in the sealed space snorted. Orphan, demon fox, Shisui murmured, and his mind began to recall the past. Suddenly, Shisui seemed to remember something, and said in horror, you are the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Uzumaki Naruto, how come you are here? Yes, I am the nine tails Jinchuriki, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto laughed at himself. He should have been called Namikaze Naruto and enjoyed the rights of a hero, but now, he is just a demon fox that everyone wants to kill, an orphan. But I am also Uzumaki Naruto, the son of the fourth Hokage. Naruto suddenly raised his voice. What, you are the son of the fourth Hokage? This time it was Shisui's turn to be shocked. The boy in the village who was called the demon fox was actually the son of the fourth Hokage. All this made Shisui feel absurd, and at the same time, a feeling of disbelief rose in his heart. How could the village do this? Uchiha Shisui, do you really think that everyone in the village is really thinking about the village? Listening to Naruto's sarcastic question, Uchiha Shisui was also convinced. Yes, didn't he trust Danzo wrongly before? I know, but not all people are bad. I'm going to go back and report Danzo's evil deeds to the third Hokage. Shisui looked angry, ahem. But it caused severe discomfort. Now his body is still too weak and needs to rest. You are too naive. Do you really think there are any good people in Konoha's F4? Do you think the Sandai really doesn't know about Danzo's affairs? Naruto did not hide his contempt for the Sandai and others. Although Shisui didn't understand what Konoha's F4 was, he thought it should refer to the current high-level Konoha officials. When Naruto said this, Shisui was shocked and said, this is impossible. The Sandai can't be in cahoots with Danzo. Shisui was still defending the Sandai. He didn't dare to believe what Naruto said. Also, the image of the Sandai was deeply rooted in his heart. He didn't dare to believe that the Sandai was the same person as Danzo. You are so childish, Shisui. Do you really think the third Hokage knows nothing? Is the third Hokage really as great as you say? I am the son of the fourth Hokage. Although the rumor that I am a demon fox was spread by Danzo, without the permission of the third generation, would these rumors really last long? And now, the rumor that I am a demon fox has been spreading for several years, and your so-called third generation has not come out to defend it. Do you know what kind of life I lived when I was a child? As the orphan of the fourth Hokage, I was thrown to the care of a nanny when I was a child. She pricked me with needles, I couldn't stand the very hot milk powder, and I was often beaten. I was still a baby at that time. There were also Anbu surveillance around me, but they didn't care. When I was 3 years old, I lived in the jungle of Konoha and hunted for food. I had to feed myself. No one in the village was willing to sell food to me. I was just a child. What did I do wrong? Naruto's roar echoed in Uchiha Shisui's mind, which made Shisui feel a little bit sorry. What kind of life did Naruto live when he was a child? As the orphan of the fourth Hokage, could the third Hokage have? Shisui didn't dare to think about it. This would make his faith in the third generation collapse. Naruto's voice continued. Is your so-called will of fire really correct? Where the leaves of Konoha dance, the fire will never stop. Naruto did not talk about his own miserable situation, but talked about what Shisui had always insisted on. Naruto wanted to break Shisui's original beliefs, and then impose his own will and thoughts on Shisui. The third Hokage's will of fire was his own will of fire, not Konoha's will of fire. Didn't the will of fire say that we should protect the young sprouts of the village? Then why did you send young children to the battlefield again and again? You should know how old you were when you went to the battlefield. Naruto's words shook Shisui. He went to the battlefield when he was 6 years old. Yes, He had seen too many young children being sent to the battlefield. Why has no one ever thought of this? The third Hokage is known as the strongest Hokage, but he has never been on the battlefield. Think about it, how many times has he been on the battlefield since he became Hokage? How did he get the title of the strongest Hokage? Don't you see that each of these titles were earned through fighting? Naruto's voice was deafening. It stirred in Shisui's mind. Looking at the shaken Shisui, Naruto said again, Konoha is the strongest, wasn't it earned by the predecessors? The three ninjas, Konoha White Fang, my father. Including your title, which one of them was not earned on the battlefield? What did the third generation do? Look at the former glorious predecessors, who is left now? Naruto's voice pierced into Shisui's heart like a sharp sword. Senior White Fang was famous, but he committed suicide because of a mission. Can ordinary villagers really understand a top-secret mission? Senior White Fang, the Hokage half-sleeve. What a great reputation. If he doesn't die, who will die? If he doesn't die, the Hokage will fall on him. How can Danzo and the third generation be willing to accept this? Naruto's words were full of sarcasm. Feeling the fleeting chakra fluctuations in the distance, Naruto raised a smile. Naruto continued. Look, under the leadership of the third generation, Konoha has become so powerful. Senior Hyuga Hazashi also died a few years ago. Shisui has now adapted to Naruto's rhythm, but he still couldn't help twitching his mouth. But when he came to his senses, it seemed that Konoha was getting worse and worse under the leadership of the third generation. This further shattered his inner faith. Let's talk about the Senju clan, which was once as famous as the Uchiha clan. Think about it, is there anyone else in the Senju clan that you can remember the name of, except Tsunade-sama? This made Shisui's heart tremble again, as if there was really no impression of the Senju clan in his memory. What on earth is going on? After the third Hokage took office, if it weren't for the support of Grandmother Mito, he would never have been able to hold the position of Hokage. After Grandmother Mito died, the third Hokage began to purge the Senju clan, sending them to the battlefield to die, and even tricked them into going to the test bench to reproduce the glory of wood release. These were all conspiracies just to reduce the power of the Senju clan. The Senju clan followed the last wish of the second Hokage, Senju Tobirama, and some of the clan members merged into Konoha. This was also the method that the second Hokage came up with to preserve the bloodline of the Senju clan. But who could have expected that he would have several filial sons and apprentices? Let's see how many civilians are talented. Would the talent of the Senju clan be concealed by integrating into the civilian population? Danzo helped a lot in this. It makes sense for Naruto to call Uzumaki Mito grandma. After all, his mother is the princess of the Uzumaki clan. Naruto gradually revealed the darkness of Konoha to Shisui, and the faith in Shisui's heart was shattered step by step. Naruto said slowly, revealing the darkness of Konoha step by step in front of Uchiha Shisui. Uchiha Shisui was silent. Is this the Konoha he wanted to protect? Naruto noticed the chakra fluctuations in the distance and rolled his eyes. This guy was really bad at hiding. If Shisui was not blind and was in a very weak state, he would have discovered the figure in the dark long ago. But this was intentional by Naruto. A white-haired ninja kid was shocked at this moment. He was still a little immature now, but he really underestimated Naruto's perception ability. The reason why Naruto chose to expose himself in front of Kakashi was to see what Kakashi would do after knowing the true darkness of Konoha, especially the matter of White Fang. Naruto was also gambling that Kakashi would not tell others about what happened this time. Even if he lost the bet, Naruto could just defect from Konoha directly. With the ability of the Nine Tails and his own strong earth escape ability, he could just drill hundreds of meters underground and escape from Konoha. After Naruto got the earth-style ninjutsu, he kept honing it. With the blessing of God's ability to work hard, Naruto developed the ability of earth-style submarine to a very abnormal degree. Naruto can not only expand the space of the submarine by strengthening chakra, but also consume chakra to speed up. Basically, no one can catch up with Naruto in Earth style. Naruto continued slowly. This time he no longer talked about Konoha's problems, but asked about the ninja world. Shisui, what do you think of the ninja world? There are constant wars between each other, but do you know why the wars are constant? Are they really not afraid of death? Is it because of disputes? None of them. It's because of resources. The uneven distribution of resources has led to the signs of war pointing to Konoha. For example, the Kingdom of Wind is located in a desert area and lacks water resources. This is why he wants to go to war with foreign countries. It is not only to rob materials to feed the citizens of the Kingdom of Wind and the Sand Village, but also to consume the population and prevent more deaths. Isn't it ironic that some people die so that more people can live? Hearing this, Shisui's face changed, and Kakashi in the dark also looked very bad. He never thought that the war would break out like this. Isn't the war caused by hatred? Do you think the profession of ninja is important? Ninjas do not engage in production, but when war comes, who will suffer more? The civilians and the small ninja villages. What's wrong with the Rain Country? Several major ninja villages couldn't bear to have the battlefield on their own territory, so they put the battlefield in the Rain Country, just because the Rain Country is a small country, but the Rain Country has a Hanzo, otherwise the Rain Country might be destroyed. Do you think you are righteous? Is the Rain Country evil? In their eyes, you are the invaders. Naruto was silent for a while and stopped talking. Uchiha Shisui was also silent, constantly thinking about everything Naruto said. No one had ever been able to analyze the ninja world so clearly. He seemed to know the world for the first time. He always thought that others were bad people and were invading his homeland. Now it seems that war is not so easy to define. For a while, he felt that the world was gray. Naruto saw that he had reached the right time and slowly said, "Do you want to change the world?" Naruto slowly said some of his thoughts from his previous life. Naruto clearly felt that Uchiha's spirit seemed to rise. If he still had eyes now, I'm afraid his two eyes would glow. Some of the ideas Naruto talked about shocked him and even challenged his three views. Especially what Naruto said about the nobles are not the rulers of the world, but the people. The one country, one village system is not the most correct. The military and politics should be separated, and the state controls all rights. Why do ninjas have to engage in industries such as missions and battles? Why can't ninjas open mountains? Why can't they farm? Why can't water-style ninjas go to the Kingdom of Wind to create water? Why can't the big countries share what they have? People are selfish. What will happen if the whole world is unified into one empire? All people are the people of the empire. There will be no war if there is freedom. In the future, we can even gather hundreds of thousands of ninjas to change the terrain of each country, so that it can produce more food and make the road smoother. These ideas of Naruto shone into Shisui's heart like a beam of light. Although I don't know what Naruto said about building roads first to get rich, after everything Naruto said, Uchiha Shisui felt that Naruto's method was the way to save the world. At this time, Uchiha Shisui remembered that Naruto was only 7 or 8 years old. Why did Naruto know these things? Naruto is indeed the savior sent by the world. In addition, Kakashi, who was hiding in the dark, was also shocked by what Naruto said, and his blood boiled. He began to look forward to the world that Naruto said. Then, he reacted and left here in a flash. On the way, Kakashi couldn't calm down for a long time. The death of his father, the darkness of Konoha, and the world described by his teacher's son. He used to be muddle-headed, but now he wants to find out the truth about his father's death himself. In his heart, the third generation can no longer be trusted. He wants to see this world for himself. Here, Uchiha Shisui slowly calmed down. He said in an ambiguous tone, "Naruto-kun, what do you need me to do?" He exhaled deeply. Uchiha Shisui knew that Naruto must want to subdue him, and he was indeed moved by everything Naruto said. He wanted to see the world Naruto talked about. What Naruto said is indeed a good way to achieve peace. Even the illusion world described by Uchiha Madara has people who believe in it and fight for it. Isn't everything Naruto said closer to reality? And Naruto has a correct ideological leader. A leader with him is the core. Welcome to the organization, Shisui-kun. I plan to set up an organization to help us change the world. I want to set up an umbrella organization and become the umbrella of the world. Shisui, I need you to go to the ninja world to gather talents, train talents, take in some orphans, and spread our ideas. You have to know that ninjas are not necessarily just tools for killing people, ninjutsu has many uses as well. You can also launch projects in the ninja world and let the ninjas embark on another path. In addition, if you want to change the world, the so-called nobles must change, and if you want to successfully change the ninja world, necessary bloodshed is indispensable. Every drop of bloodshed in the future will be a symbol of the Red Revolution. Shisui, you have a long way to go. Naruto pointed with his finger, and then he passed his views on training, the 6 styles, and Naruto's thoughts on the outline of thought into Shisui's mind. Naruto-kun, you will live up to everyone's expectations. Shisui said with great respect. Naruto-kun, you are in Konoha now, your safety is essential. This is my practice of the instant body technique, I will give it to you, as well as some ninjutsu. Shisui passed on his ninjutsu and training summary to Naruto through illusion. Shisui knew more ninjutsu than the previous ones, which made Naruto overjoyed. I suggest you go to Wave Country, where there are no ninja villages and it is more suitable for development. There is another talent I can introduce to you, Momochi Zabuza, and the apprentice of the Land Shadow of the Land of Earth, who is a problem teenager, can also be absorbed. In addition, you should develop cautiously, remember that a cunning rabbit has 3 burrows, and don't show it in public. You can recruit some scientists. Although they are not ninjas, they can have a great impact. For example, increasing food production is a relatively important issue. Naruto said slowly, and the 2 of them set some secret codes, and then Naruto began to return to Konoha. Naruto went to class as usual, as if there was nothing different from usual, but the conflict between the village and Uchiha seemed to have intensified a bit. In addition, Naruto was surprised that he got a sealing technique from Shisui, which was a good thing. Naruto was still having a headache about the sealing technique before, because the sealing technique was knowledge that Naruto had never come into contact with. Fortunately, he found a sealing technique from Shisui's ninjutsu. The sealing technique is simply a panacea in Naruto. It has many uses and sometimes can even play an extraordinary role. The country of whirlpools was destroyed by several major countries because the sealing technique was too feared. Even Konoha was probably behind Danzo. In the original work, the country of whirlpools asked Konoha for help, but Konoha did not send a rescue. This may be because some people of the Uzumaki clan were unwilling to come to Konoha village. Later, they drifted in the ninja world. Nagato was a representative of this kind. The sealing technique that Naruto got from Shisui is called the seal of sealing objects. This is a sealing technique that can make storage scrolls, and it can also seal ninjutsu, but it is too troublesome. However, it is very useful, and is mostly used to make storage scrolls. Naruto was instantly very surprised. These days, Naruto no longer used the entity to go outside the village, but used the shadow clone to go there. There is still a sealing barrier around the village, but Uchiha Shisui was a member of the Anbu before, and he also knew how to enter and exit the barrier. It may be because they think Shisui is dead, Konoha did not change the barrier entry and exit method. It is very difficult to make a large barrier. These days, Uchiha Shisui is also constantly recovering from his injuries. During this period, he also constantly asked Naruto about the ideological program of their organization. After Naruto's brainwashing these days, Uchiha Shisui's desperate heart has turned to their recently established organization. Umbrella. Become the umbrella of the whole world. This is what Naruto told him. Umbrella will have the world's top talents in the future. A spark can start a prairie fire. For a few days, Naruto has been asking Shisui about the experience of practicing the sealing seal and Shisui's own instant body technique. These days, since Shisui can't see, Naruto specially developed a ninjutsu that can help Shisui. It is a perception ninjutsu that Naruto made with reference to the radar in his previous life. It was more due to the help of the ability of God rewards hard work, otherwise it would take a long time to study it with his own ability. But I don't know if it's because it's not a machine but humans who use it, the range is much smaller and the detection is more accurate. Although it's not as good as his own Kagura's mind's eye, there is no chakra fluctuation at all, because it relies on ultrasound for detection. Thanks to this, Naruto also developed an infrasonic ninjutsu, which is similar to the sonic attack in the sound village established by Orochimaru. Naruto-kun, I'm really worried. You've entrusted me with such a great task. Can I do it well? At this moment, Uchiha Shisui said with some worry. Shisui, you have to believe in yourself. In the future, there will be many like-minded people to help you. Some things require someone to carry the burden forward. Naruto kept encouraging, and at the same time he also had the idea of looking for a think tank. Shisui's wisdom is actually not bad, but he still lacks a sense of the overall situation and some ruthlessness. However, the current manpower is really scarce, and Naruto himself has not grown up yet. Now Naruto's strength is barely equivalent to that of a Jonin. After all, he is still too young. Naruto also knows that the power of a person is small. Even if his strength is strong enough, he can't do everything by himself. This is not exhausting, which is why Orochimaru established the Sound Village. Speaking of Orochimaru, Naruto thinks Orochimaru is a very important character. Orochimaru's greatest strength is not his combat effectiveness, but his scientific research ability. At the same time, Orochimaru is a relatively versatile person. He is not bad in ninjutsu, taijutsu, and the like. He has scientific research ability and is also a commander. Abilities, Orochimaru has them all. He is truly an all-rounder. You have to know that Orochimaru does not have any cheats. If Orochimaru has his own cheat-like abilities, I don't know how far he can go. There is another person, who is also a talent that Naruto is optimistic about, that is Tsunade, but she must not be recruited at the moment, and he will make plans for this later. Naruto thinks that the best thing to do now is to recruit talents, accumulate food, and slowly become king. At this time, he must hide. If he is exposed in the open, Danzo, the third generation, the Akatsuki organization, and even the Black Zetsu in the dark will find him. It will be difficult to deal with by then. He does not have the ability to overturn the chessboard yet. Moreover, it is still early to the time of the original work, and Naruto is not in a hurry, and slowly begins to return to normal. Every day he teases Hinata, practices with Shaoli and Sasuke, and so on. On this day, Naruto teased Hinata's face as usual. Naruto-kun. Naruto found it very amusing to see Hinata being shy, and he liked this girl more and more. At this time, Iruka, who was on the podium, was getting more and more angry, because the classroom in front of him was full of smoke, and Inuzuka Kiba was still playing with his ninja dog. This year, he successfully got his own ninja dog, who was the descendant of the ninja dog of an elite Jonin in the family. The growth cycle is estimated to be several years. He will grow up with his master and build up enough tacit understanding and feelings. Needless to say, his potential is at the Jonin level. As for Shikamaru, he was sleeping. These questions were too simple for him. It would be more interesting for him to go home and play a game of shogi with the old man. Naruto was teasing Hinata, and Sasuke was still training in hand seals. As for Shino, is there such a person? Not to mention Shino, Iruka can't even remember him. These guys, just because they know the lessons, won't they listen to the class properly? Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke, Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji, Inuzuka Kiba, Yamanaka Ino. Don't make trouble for me, all of you, stand outside. Yamanaka-san, is the mirror good? Get out and stand. Iruka said angrily, his voice even echoing in the corridor. Several people looked at each other, then Naruto stood up, touched Hinata's head, and then walked out. Uchiha Sasuke followed closely behind. Shikamaru had sleepy eyes and looked listless, and Choji kept eating snacks in his hand, as if nothing was more important than eating snacks. When Naruto came out, he happened to meet Shaoli. Shaoli was stunned for a moment, and then greeted Naruto happily. Shaoli often asked for leave to go out for training because he became a disciple of Might Guy, and the reason was that Might Guy gave him special training. In fact, Shaoli went to their training ground to train, and then he would go to Might Guy to practice. The teacher of the ninja school was at most a chunin, so how could he go to Might Guy, an elite jonin, to ask if it was true? In the ninja world, the hierarchy between ninjas is also very strict. And the reason why Shaoli worked so hard, in his words, was that Naruto was so talented and still worked so hard. If you want to keep up with Naruto's pace, you must work harder. Shaoli's level of effort is not as good as Naruto. Naruto greeted Lee happily, and then walked forward with Lee, followed by Sasuke. The others were a little surprised. They didn't expect Naruto and his friends to skip class. Teacher Iruka told us to stand here. Ino showed a surprised look on her face, and Shikamaru squinted his eyes and looked at Naruto and Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke was very arrogant, but at this moment, they were walking beside each other, and Naruto was the leader. The boy in the ugly green tights next to them should be the third-year student, Rock Lee, who only knew physical skills. Shikamaru analyzed this information in a short time, worthy of being a member of the Nara family. Ino looked at Sasuke's figure, and suddenly a plan came to her mind. She suddenly ran between Naruto and Sasuke and said happily, "Naruto-kun, Sasuke-kun, Choji and the others are going to treat us to a barbecue, let's go together." She looked at Naruto and Sasuke, and at this moment, she suddenly felt that Naruto, whom she had never noticed before, seemed to be very good-looking, but the beard on his face blocked Naruto's appearance, and Naruto's performance was not as dazzling as Sasuke, so most of her attention was focused on Sasuke. At this time, Naruto, because of sufficient nutritional supplements, was not only physically strong, but also mentally much better. At this moment, Ino was a little stunned. "Ah, Ino, you like Sasuke-kun, but Naruto-kun is so handsome." For a moment, it seemed that there was a little man rolling in Ino's mind. Shikamaru listened to Ino's speech. Women are troublesome. He couldn't help but feel a headache when he thought about his wallet being empty. When Choji heard about eating barbecue, his eyes lit up instantly, and he kept muttering, "Eat barbecue, eat barbecue." It was obvious that Choji also liked eating barbecue, and he was also happy to ask his classmates to share the delicious barbecue. Naruto looked at the sincere Ino, and for some reason, he agreed. "Okay," Naruto said to Lee and Sasuke, "you have been too tense recently. Why don't you go out and have some fun? You should know that too much is as bad as too little." Naruto's words were mainly for Lee. Excessive practice might leave Lee with hidden injuries. Sometimes, relaxing your mood will make it easier to improve your practice. Naruto said to Ino meaningfully, "Let's go, but maybe people don't welcome me very much." Ino was a little confused, but still invited a few people to go to the barbecue restaurant. After leaving the school, they soon came to a street. A few people crossed the street and soon saw the barbecue restaurant opposite. What accompanied them was the strange eyes of passers-by. Naruto smiled contemptuously, very disdainful. Lee and Sasuke's eyes became a little cold. Ino didn't notice anything unusual at all. His focus was not on passers-by. When several people were about to enter the barbecue restaurant, a voice suddenly stopped them. "You can go in, but he can't." The one who spoke was a big man, who looked very strong, but was not a ninja. He was wearing chef's clothes and was obviously the owner of the place. Naruto had anticipated this matter, because in his previous experience, he knew that except for a few stores, other stores would not welcome him at all. There were only two stores. One was the store of a hand-fighting uncle that Naruto had a good impression of, and the other was a ninja tool store. This store belonged to Tenten, one of the 12 little strongmen of Konoha. Tenten's family was an outsider who moved in and finally settled in Konoha village. The family was not ninjas, but was in the ninja tool business, which allowed Tenten to develop a unique ninjutsu, the money scattering technique. A wave of attacks can make the sand ninja feel distressed. Of course, the money scattering technique was a joke, but in Naruto's impression, Tenten's ninjutsu Twin Dragons was to use ninja tools to cover the battlefield in order to achieve the purpose of lethality, and each attack would cost at least hundreds of thousands, so it was not wrong to call it the money scattering technique. The big man pointed at Naruto, which made Ino very dissatisfied. "Why can't he come in? He's my classmate." Looking at the little loli arguing, Naruto inexplicably felt that she was a little cute. "Hee. Why, my shop doesn't welcome foxes. You can go in, but he can't," the middle-aged man said again, his tone full of coldness. Naruto has not changed at all. Such a place makes him have no nostalgia, and he will not show any mercy in the future. He is not the original Naruto who will repay kindness with grievances. The performance of these villagers made him more determined in his mind. "How about we go for a picnic? Naruto-kun is a great cook," Xiao Li suggested at this time. Ino could only leave with a few people unhappily, with unhappiness written all over her cute little face. A few words faintly reached their ears. "Uncle Chingzu, these kids are from a big family, you have to be careful." Little did they know that the man named Chingzu in front of him said disdainfully, "My store does not welcome little fox demons. You should know that my son died at the hands of the nine-tailed fox. He had a bright future and was saved by the fourth generation, who called him a good ninja. His bright future was ruined like this. How can I not be angry?" Uncle Qingzu is right, the little fox demon doesn't deserve to live in this world. If it weren't for the mercy of the third-generation master, he would have been beaten to death long ago. Ha ha ha, the teasing voices kept coming from the barbecue restaurant. What kind of person is that? Ino said unhappily. Shikamaru was thinking about it. Naruto looked at the reactions of several people. Several friends were indignant, while Shikamaru lowered his head and didn't know what he was thinking. Did Shikamaru have any guesses? Looking at the smart boy in front of him, Naruto was thinking whether he should kidnap Shikamaru when leaving Konoha. Ahem, take him away. How can you kidnap a scholar? Shikamaru is very suitable to be a military advisor. Several people began to go to the wild. They did not go to their base, but went to another part of the forest. Naruto and the other two were busy throughout the process. Because of Naruto's cooking skills, the food was not worse than any food that Choji had ever eaten. Naruto, come to me if you need anything in the future. Choji patted his chest and pretended to be righteous. Shikamaru rolled his eyes and said, "You are jealous of the food made by Naruto." However, Shikamaru was also surprised by Naruto's cooking skills, and seeing Naruto's skilled appearance, combined with the attitude of the villagers towards Naruto, Shikamaru also came to a shocking conclusion that Naruto had survived alone at a very young age. Combined with Sasuke's casual respectful attitude, Naruto was obviously not simple. Naruto kept inviting several people to eat barbecue, and the ingredients were produced by some wild plants in the woods that could be used as condiments. I had no idea that Shikamaru had thought of so much through a small piece of information, otherwise, he might want to kidnap him and hand him over to Shisui now. A smart person like Shikamaru is very suitable for developing an organization. Chapter 31. Rain Legs. Broken Wind Cutting. Naruto instantly jumped up more than 10 meters, kicking out dozens of arc-shaped crescent attacks, and the surrounding land was immediately cut into several deep gullies by the powerful attacks. At the same time, Naruto was floating in the sky. If someone saw it, they would be very surprised, because in the ninja world, flying ninjutsu and space ninjutsu are as rare as space ninjutsu. In fact, this is the effect of Naruto's moonstep, not a ninjutsu. Naruto slowly landed on the ground, his palms on the ground, chakra surged, and the surrounding land instantly returned to its original state. This was Naruto's way to prevent anyone from discovering traces of his training. Naruto, you've become stronger again, Shaoli said with emotion, and at the same time, he had a desire to catch up. He had seen the power of physical skills on Naruto, which made him particularly yearning. Naruto's 6 styles can already develop his own moves, and Shaoli is still familiar with the practice of the 6 styles. The gap is not ordinary. However, Shaoli is not depressed, but more proud of Naruto. Shaoli, I am still far from being strong enough, Naruto said with a smile. In fact, Naruto was also very happy. His practice of the 6 styles was already very deep, and even the practice of ninjutsu had reached a very deep level. Just like the Earth Escape ninjutsu that Naruto had been practicing, Naruto had also developed it to a very deep level. Not only did the speed and power increase a lot, but even the hand seals became 2 seals. 1 starting seal and 1 ending seal. In the ninja world, the reason why ninjas need hand seals is that hand seals can help ninjas better release ninjutsu, and at the same time mobilize the flow of chakra to release ninjutsu. In fact, it is also possible not to make hand seals. To release ninjutsu, you need to have a higher understanding of ninjutsu and a more sophisticated control of chakra. Ninjutsu is like a program that is defined in advance, and the user activates the program by making hand seals, and chakra is the energy required for activation. Changing ninjutsu is equivalent to developing a program, which requires a deep understanding of ninjutsu. Developing a ninjutsu from scratch is equivalent to developing a program, and changing the form of ninjutsu is equivalent to adding modifications to the program. Similar to Sasuke's Chidori style in the original work, it was modified based on Kakashi's original program. Naruto, why do I feel like my storm leg training is always ineffective? Shaoli asked in a somewhat puzzled tone. Tell me, where do you feel problems when you are practicing? Naruto said to Shaoli. Shaoli also told Naruto about the problems he encountered. After listening to Shaoli's description, Naruto felt that he almost knew where Shaoli's problem was, so he said, When you are practicing, the storm kick must present a frequency process so that you can successfully perform the storm kick. Naruto, there is also moon step. I always feel like there is something missing. Xiao Li continued to ask. The celebrity smiled and said, in fact, your progress is also very good, but I suggest you practice shaving, storm kick and paper painting first, and then practice moon step after you have mastered these three. There are also iron blocks and finger guns. Finger guns can enhance your attack power, and iron blocks can enhance your defense power. However, you should practice shaving better, and use iron blocks as a supplement. After all, why resist if you can dodge? But you still need to practice iron blocks. After all, there will always be times when you can't dodge, and that's when the role of iron blocks will be reflected. Naruto kept telling Xiao Li how to practice the 6 styles, and also told Xiao Li some precautions. In the world of pirates, how many people died because they couldn't withstand the iron blocks, so Naruto naturally suggested to dodge if you can, but in the world of Naruto, ninjas generally have high attacks and low defenses, and even have some strange ninjutsu and illusions. If you can't dodge, then the role of iron blocks will be reflected. That's all for today. Don't you still want to practice physical skills with Might Guy? Naruto said slowly. Might Guy is the master of Konoha Steel Fist style. Generally speaking, it has its merits, but he doesn't pay much attention to the maintenance of his body. In his old age, he will probably be dragged down by hidden injuries. However, in the world of ninjas where human life is worthless, who cares about hidden injuries? It's not certain whether he can live to that time. Might Guy should have some methods to prevent hidden injuries, but they must be very simple. Okay, that's all for today, Xiao Li said a little disappointed, but he still walked towards the distance. After being influenced by Naruto, Xiao Li now has mastered Naruto's way of life. Xiao Li now only uses 1/3 of his strength at most in the hands of Might Guy, and only 1/4 of his strength in school. And Xiao Li's real strength now has surpassed a large part of the genin. Xiao Li is now nearly 9 years old, and Naruto is nearly 8 years old. After Xiao Li left, Naruto showed a thoughtful expression. Shisui has established a base in the Land of Waves, but it is still secret, and has also found some rebel ninjas to join the organization, but they are only peripheral members and they are not. And under the guidance of Naruto, Shisui also recruited some civilians. Although civilians have no combat power, they can sometimes play a big role. After all, a single spark can start a prairie fire. The ninja world is not full of ninjas, but more of them are civilians. The Land of Waves is also a country without a daimyo, which makes it easier for Shisui to spread his ideas here. As for Zabuza, Shisui is still looking for him. Although he didn't find Zabuza, he got an unexpected news. It seems that a coup has happened in the Hidden Mist village in the Land of Water recently, and the Mizukage has become a woman. At the same time, the Blood Mist era of the Hidden Mist village has ended. Shisui searched around the Land of Water and found some news about Zabuza. The Land of Water. What a tragic country. Shisui witnessed many tragedies on the way. The life of the people of the Land of Water is far inferior to that of the Land of Fire. This made Shisui more determined to bring the civilians of the Land of Water into the umbrella of protection, and let the glory of the umbrella shine on the world. Shisui kept roaming in the villages around the Land of Water. He didn't know when his surroundings were covered with snow. He didn't care about the snow. What he cared about was the faces of the people of the Land of Water without any expression. In Naruto's words, it was numbness. His vision and pattern have transcended the country and the village. In his opinion, the people of every country will be a member of the umbrella in the future. Make every citizen happy, this is the goal that the umbrella strives for. Help Naruto become the direct master. Only the world under Naruto's dominance is happy and correct. This has penetrated into Shisui's heart. And he also portrayed Naruto as a spiritual leader. In fact, Naruto really became the spiritual leader in Shisui's heart. Shisui walked on the road, looking at the numb expressions of the people around him, and his heart ached. At this time, a voice came into Shisui's ears, "Big brother. Your eyes are different from mine, there is light in your eyes." Shisui turned around and saw a little girl squatting on the ground, wearing thin clothes and even without shoes. She was huddled together because of the cold. Shisui was stunned and said, "Would you like to go with me? There is hope in our place. There is light for everyone in our place." Wait, She's the one I'm looking for. A cold voice sounded, giving people a feeling that he couldn't be refused. Shisui turned around and saw a bandaged man in front of him, with a huge object wrapped in bandages behind him. Shisui was delighted. The bandaged man in front of him was exactly his target, the demon Zabuza. What he was carrying behind him should be the beheading sword. Shisui's current appearance is the figure after the transformation technique, otherwise with Shisui's reputation, how could Zabuza not recognize him? Shisui's eyes slowly turned, and his ordinary eyes had formed the appearance of 3 Magatama. This was stolen by Naruto at Danzo's base. It was only 1 Magatama before, but now it has been upgraded to 3 Magatama. What a genius! The theft of Danzo's base even made Danzo suspect Orochimaru, but he was about to do something big recently, so it was just a Magatama that was lost. However, Danzo still executed the root ninja who was guarding that day. When Shisui showed the 3 Magatama, Zabuza was shocked instantly, because the Uchiha clan was still very famous now, and a 3 Magatama was at least at the level of a Jonin. In the ninja world, the most difficult people were the Uchiha clan. When facing the Sharingan, the best thing was not to look into the other party's eyes, and he had just seen. Who are you? Zabuza, who is known as the Demon Man, wants to fight even if he faces a Sharingan ninja. He slowly drew out his beheading sword, and secretly he had formed a seal of the mist hidden technique. The diffuse mist began to cover the surroundings, and it was pitch dark. This not only avoids looking at the Sharingan, but also allows him to stand at home. It is indeed a good strategy. However, it depends on who it is. Ninjutsu radar detection. Shisui quietly made a seal. As a ninjutsu developed by Naruto, how could it have so many complicated seals? However, the ninjutsu he developed had a bit high requirements for the user. But for Shisui, who was a cage-level strongman, this was not a problem at all. Zabuza's position appeared clearly in Shisui's mind. Dozens of phantoms of Shisui appeared in an instant, and went straight to Zabuza. Feeling Shisui running towards him, Zabuza's face changed. How is it possible? He is not a Byakuyan, how could he find me in this thick fog? Without giving it much thought, Zabuza drew his sword and blocked it. His rich experience saved him from being pierced through the chest and killed. A spark lit up on the beheading sword, which turned out to be Shisui's short blade. Shisui swung his sword again and slashed at Zabuza, but the touch was wrong. Shisui hurriedly swung it behind him. The beheading sword and Shisui's short blade collided tightly with each other, and a bang-bang sounded. Zabuza, who was slashed just now, was just a water clone. Shisui smiled, and was obviously very satisfied with Zabuza. A ninja like Zabuza is an absolute pillar in any ninja village. Although Shisui can't open the Mangekyo now, his own chakra and fighting skills are still there, and even his physical skills have become stronger after being taught by Naruto. Fire style. Great Dragon Fire Technique. Wind style. Wind Tornado. Combination Ninjutsu. Wind and Fire Tornado. Shisui used 2 ninjutsu in an instant to form a powerful combination ninjutsu. The fog created by Zabuza was instantly burned away, and the powerful wind tornado enveloped everything around. Shisui came to the little girl and protected her. But suddenly he felt a chill coming, and the little girl was already wrapped in thick ice. Bloodline limit. As soon as this thought came up, Shisui couldn't help but feel happy. Bloodline limit. If you train well, you will at least be an elite Jonin. Even the potential of the ice release bloodline limit is more than that. Zabuza was knocked away by Shisui's combination ninjutsu at this time, and fell heavily to the ground. His body was charred black, and it was obvious that he had been seriously injured and fell into a coma. According to what Zabuza said later, he just wanted to find a potential subordinate, but he didn't expect that he would end up getting himself involved. From the memoirs of Zabuza. Konoha Village. Naruto knew very well that the Uchiha clan would be exterminated in the next few days. He felt that he could do something. At least the Sharingan should not be wasted in the hands of Danzo and Obito. Danzo even used the Sharingan as a cheap resurrection coin. In the past few days, Naruto continued to attend classes as usual, without any abnormality. Today, Naruto suddenly heard a notice that the school would add a practical class today. Naruto instinctively caught something wrong, and turned around to see the pineapple-headed classmate who also looked unusual. It seems that he knew something from the family, but he didn't know much. Naruto took advantage of no one's attention and quietly replaced himself with a shadow clone. Naruto's body quietly rushed to the Uchiha clan's residence. The Uchiha clan was outside the Konoha village and was definitely in a remote corner. No wonder the Uchiha was dissatisfied with the village. The headquarters of wealthy families like the Hyuga clan and the three tribes of Ino, Deer and Cho are all in the more prosperous places in Konoha. Naruto kept using Earth Escape to shuttle back and forth. No one's Earth Escape could reach Naruto's depth. After Naruto's magic modification, the practicality of Earth Escape has greatly increased, but it is not affordable for ordinary people. At least chakra is a big problem. Who is sick enough to detect hundreds of meters underground? Naruto also used Kagura's mind eye to explore the underground. The difficulty of exploration and chakra doubled, but what Naruto lacked the least was chakra. Feeling that he had arrived at the underground where the Uchiha family was located, Naruto began to go to the ground. Around the Uchiha, there was a huge barrier wrapped around it, even going dozens of meters deep into the ground, but who would have thought that Naruto's Earth Escape was too abnormal? Naruto carefully hid around. This time, Naruto did not notify Shisui, because Naruto was worried that Shisui's chakra would be exposed in this operation, which would be very passive in the future. So Naruto chose to act alone. Feeling the fluctuations of life, Naruto began to rush to several places with smaller fluctuations of life. Naruto planned to rescue several younger people from the Uchiha family, because most of the thoughts of adults have been fixed, and most of the adult ninjas in the Uchiha family have red-eye disease, and most of those with red-eye disease have mental illness. And with the arrogant character of the Uchiha, it is difficult for them to obey their management. Not all of them are Shisui and Itachi's. Except for a few people, Naruto really looks down on the other Uchiha people. In Naruto's class, only Sasuke studied in the ninja school, and the others basically received teachings from specialists in the clan. But there were not many outstanding ones. He couldn't stop the Uchiha from doing this time, so he could only help Shisui retain the blood of several clan members and prevent the Uchiha bloodline from disappearing in the ninja world. Naruto soon came to the training area and found the training ground where the Uchiha little beans were being trained. There were more than a dozen little beans, and the ninjas being trained were also senior ninjas. They were obviously the little beans with better talents in the family. Naruto hid underground and pulled the Uchiha Jonin into the soil, leaving only his head. He knocked him unconscious directly, which was easier than Naruto imagined. This might be because he didn't expect someone to be able to do this in Uchiha, killing in the family. In another place, Naruto already felt the murderous intent rising to the sky. He even smelled the scent of blood. Earth Escape. Nuclear submarine. A submarine-shaped submarine made of earth swallowed up a few little kids. Naruto thought for a moment and swallowed up the Jonin in front of him. However, Naruto opened his eyelids and controlled him with soul stealing. Only then did he swallow him with confidence and then sent the nuclear submarine underground. After Naruto sent several Uchiha children to the underground, he could not help but feel excited. These children would be the talents of the umbrella in the future. He must abduct more talents to return. Ahem, I am saving them, how can it be called abduction? Naruto thought shamelessly. Soon, Naruto heard a lot of wailing. It seems that not only Uchiha Itachi took action, but also the root. It is even possible that even the Anbu was involved. Otherwise, how could such a large Uchiha be slaughtered by Itachi alone? The round-robin battle alone can consume the chakra of Itachi, and some elite Jonin in the family are not so easy to kill. Naruto looked at the training ground in front of him. Not far from the training ground is the living area of the Uchiha family. In this area, Naruto felt a lot of life breath, some young, some strong, and some old breath. It should be the Uchiha children and family members. There are many ordinary Uchiha clansmen who are not ninjas here. If it were in Naruto's previous world, how could even these people be killed? Itachi has been brainwashed by the Konoha high-level officials. Who else would do such a thing? The guidance of the third Hokage and the lack of understanding of his clan members gradually made Itachi think that it was all the fault of the ignorant clan members. In order to prevent Konoha from falling into war, Itachi chose to bear the sin alone. What else can Naruto say about this? This world is sick. Naruto does not like Itachi's behavior, even though Itachi really has great talents. He arranged Sasuke's life without authorization, but he didn't know that Sasuke didn't want to follow the path he had arranged. As for Itachi, Naruto decided to let Sasuke decide in the future. Naruto tried his best to hide the chakra fluctuations on his body, and then his figure disappeared again, and the whole person hid in the ground. Inside the Uchiha clan's residence, there was a scene like purgatory. The elderly, children, and even women were brutally killed by masked ninjas. Itachi looked at these people in front of him, a trace of pity flashed in his eyes, and then the figure of Sasuke emerged in his mind. He originally had some compassion, but it was instantly suppressed by Itachi. He knew that he could not stop the demise of the Uchiha clan, and all he could do now was to save Sasuke's life. After several years, the name of the Uchiha clan would resound throughout this land. For this, he was willing to take on everything. A vortex appeared in the air, and a man wearing a spiral mask appeared in front of Itachi. A trace of fear flashed in Itachi's eyes. The space-time ninjutsu of the masked man in front of him was very difficult to deal with. "Dear Mr. Itachi, what's wrong? Can't bear to do it." The masked man laughed sarcastically. Itachi swung the blade in his hand again, and blood sprayed on Itachi's face, but Itachi's expression did not change at all, as if he was a killing god of death. Seeing Itachi's decisive move, the masked man laughed again. This young man was so cruel that he couldn't help but be surprised. Then he kept moving forward, killing and cursing. The strong anger of the Uchiha people even made the Sharingan evolve one by one. One Magatama became double Magatama, and double Magatama became 3 Magatama, but it was obvious that the Mangekyo was not so easy to open. In the original work, the second pillar saw the whole clan being slaughtered, and he only opened 1 Magatama. It was still quite useless to say, but a person's talent is not entirely linked to opening the eyes. Uchiha Itachi, you don't deserve the name of Uchiha. Ah! With Itachi's continuous slaughter, some ninjas of the Uchiha family finally reacted, but they were no match for Itachi. Itachi opened the Mangekyo, and his chakra surged again. With the help of the Mangekyo I technique, Itachi's strength has firmly stepped into the level of Kage. Not only that, facing the ninjas of the Uchiha family, almost all of the roots were dispatched this time, and the Anbu were also involved. The ninjas of the Uchiha family were caught off guard, and when they were ready to face the enemy, they were facing enemies that were several times their number. With the cooperation, even the Uchiha ninjas would suffer a bitter defeat. Itachi kept killing all the way, and then gradually came to the residential area, where some root ninjas had already begun thinking of killing. Itachi couldn't help but think of a girl, and then Sasuke's figure gradually covered the girl. Nothing was more important than Sasuke. The blade in Itachi's hand swung down again. Itachi turned and left. A tear slowly left the corner of his eye, and then walked towards the clan leader's residence. He knew that this was what he had to face. Walking through the corridor, slowly into the yard, and then slowly into the room, 2 figures appeared in front of her. Their faces looked very calm. They were Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Makoto. The two just looked at Itachi quietly, as if they had no idea what Itachi had done. Uchiha Fugaku slowly picked up the teacup on the table, and his shaking hands clearly showed that he was not as calm as he looked. "It seems you have chosen Konoha. You are my son, I support you no matter what you do." Fugaku wanted to continue talking, but then he stopped talking. He knew the situation was over. He looked at the seemingly calm and indifferent boy in front of him, and he knew how much pressure he was under. "Woo woo woo. Itachi, please protect Sasuke, my dear Sasuke." Makoto's voice suddenly sounded, and tears could not help but flow from Makoto's eyes. "Mom, I'm sorry. I can't let Konoha get dragged into a bigger war." Itachi's voice slowly sounded, and then he drew out the short blade behind him. "Father, you should open your eyes too." Itachi's 3 Magatama quickly spun and then formed a dart shape. Uchiha Fugaku's eyes flashed with surprise, and then he said, "You are my son, protect Sasuke." A trace of blood came out of the corner of Fugaku's mouth, and the same happened to Uchiha Makoto. Itachi looked closely and saw that the abdomens of the two were pierced by a kunai, and there were traces of powerful chakra bursts in their abdomens. It was obvious that the two used chakra to destroy their internal organs. Itachi turned his head reluctantly, then walked out of the room, and quickly formed seals with his hands, obviously not wanting his parents' remains to be obtained by the root ninjas. The powerful fire escape instantly caused a huge explosion, and then his eyes glared, and a trace of black flames appeared from his eyes. The building in front of him was covered by black flames and gradually dissipated. This is the flame of Amaterasu, which is known as the strongest flame. Even flames can be burned out. What Itachi didn't know was that just as he turned and left and released the flames, Naruto, who had been hiding underground for a long time, instantly used earth escape to wrap up the bodies of the two. He had this idea after seeing Itachi intend to cremate the bodies of Uchiha Fugaku and Makoto. If the body is preserved, there may be hope for resurrection in the future. In the ninja world, resurrection is not an impossible thing. After leaving, Naruto took the opportunity to grab a few pairs of Uchiha clan's Sharingan before the root ninja and then slipped away. Naruto has already discovered that the root ninja is collecting Sharingan, and Uchiha Obito, the masked man, is also collecting Sharingan. However, most of them have gone into Danzo's pocket. Naruto dare not stay for long, for fear that he will show his killing intention to Uchiha Obito and be discovered in advance. This will not be worth the loss. Naruto began to leave the Uchiha clan's residence from underground. Following Naruto, there were some Uchiha clan's little kids, a girl, and the bodies of Uchiha Fugaku and his wife. If Itachi saw that girl, he would be very familiar with her, because this unconscious girl is Uchiha Izumi, the girl who loves Uchiha Itachi. The reason why Naruto saved this girl is because this girl is talented enough and has a similar status to Obito in the Uchiha clan. She is not a core disciple of Uchiha. However, at such a young age, he has already opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan, and has not received many resources. If he is given to Shisui to train, he will probably be a good helper. After hastily settling them, Naruto suddenly had an idea. If all the root ninjas came out, then wouldn't Danzo's route be unguarded now? Danzo's route has a lot of good things. Earth escape technique. Nuclear submarine. Naruto used earth escape technique again and headed towards the root base. This time, Naruto found that the barrier of the root had become stronger. When Naruto came to the underground, he was a little dumbfounded. Because there was a sealing technique underground. Sealing technique. Turning the ground into steel. It is a technique that can make the ground as strong as steel. Danzo, you are really going too far. Naruto was dumbfounded this time. He didn't expect Danzo to be so cruel and set up such a wide range of sealing techniques in such a large underground. Naruto made up his mind and made several seals in a row, all of which were very short. Combined ninjutsu. Lava flow. Naruto's powerful chakra increased the power of the combined ninjutsu, and Naruto changed the nature of the ninjutsu, forming a powerful impact flow. The strong high temperature continued to erode the almost steel ground. If there were people around, Naruto might not be able to enter the root base at all. Unfortunately, now almost all the root members have gone to the Uchiha station. However, a few root ninjas still found something unusual. Not good. Someone is forcibly breaking through the ground defense with a powerful ninjutsu. There were only a few root ninjas left behind, but the nearly inhumane training made them regain their composure quickly. Where Naruto attacked, molten iron continued to flow down, and it would soon break through the ground defense. Naruto also felt that there were ninjas gathering. According to the chakra strength, there were only 2 Jonins. This discovery made Naruto laugh. 2 Jonins, he was more than enough to deal with. Increasing the output of chakra, the ninjutsu released by Naruto began to rotate continuously, increasing the impact. This requires extremely strong chakra control. Chakra control +5, ninjutsu proficiency +3. Before he could feel the voices that kept appearing in his mind, Naruto stared at the ground above. It was almost there. It was broken. Naruto suddenly drilled a big hole. At the moment when Naruto drilled up, several ninjutsu instantly hit Naruto. This powerful attack would instantly kill even a Jonin. Naruto had been on guard against them for a long time. With 2 seals, Naruto formed an upgraded version of the Earth-style, Earth Flow Wall. After blocking the attack, Naruto slapped the ground with both hands, injected chakra, and a huge earth dragon suddenly emerged from the big hole that had just been broken. This was because Naruto spent a lot of effort to study and simplify this earth style. Super Earth Dragon Bullet to one that did not require seals, but only required contact with the ground. The powerful Earth Dragon instantly devoured the people in front of him. After the ninjutsu dissipated, Naruto looked at the ninjas again, and his body had been crushed to pieces. Naruto was relieved. In front of the enhanced version of the Earth Dragon Bullet, these rude ninjas were vulnerable. Naruto walked in front of the people and then began to explore the root base. Having been here once before, Naruto walked into one of the rooms. What caught his eye were some glassware. It seemed that this was the research room of the root. Naruto quickly scanned everything in front of him. In the huge glassware, formalin was soaked in several bodies with extremely miserable deaths. On the table were some densely packed records, which seemed to be test records. Without much gain, Naruto came to another room. This room seemed to be an archive room. Naruto casually flipped through several folders, which recorded some mission records of the route. Naruto opened a folder again, which recorded Danzo's dark mission. After Naruto flipped through several folders again, he knew that Danzo would definitely not put top secret things here. Walking through another room, it turned out to be the library of the route. Naruto took out a scroll, which recorded the training experience of Wind Escape Ninjutsu. Picking up another scroll, it was a Wind Escape Ninjutsu. Naruto looked around. Several shelves, it seemed that the ninjutsu on each shelf had been classified. Walking to another shelf, Naruto was delighted to find that it recorded the Encyclopedia of Sealing Technique Training. He looked at another scroll, which was a detailed explanation of sealing techniques and barriers. It seems that most of the information on this shelf is about the practice of sealing techniques. He picked up another scroll, which was a method of practicing sealing techniques, the limb sealing technique. It was a very common ninjutsu. Naruto kept looking for useful scrolls, and found that they were all very common sealing techniques. Precious sealing techniques are not placed here. However, the knowledge of sealing techniques in front of Naruto made his scalp numb. He didn't expect that he needed to know so much knowledge to master sealing techniques. What's exciting is that these are all basic sealing techniques and some sealing techniques principles, such as 108 types of sealing techniques. Naruto is happy that with these basic sealing technique scrolls, as long as he understands them thoroughly, Naruto can become a master of sealing techniques. With the ability of God's reward for hard work, can't he even deduce a sealing technique? Naruto didn't check the scrolls again, because he felt that Danzo might be back, and the movement here should have been discovered by Danzo. Take out the pre-prepared sealing scroll, which is the scroll made of the sealing seal that Naruto got from Shisui before. It comes in handy at this moment. Move them all away. Soon Naruto robbed all the scrolls, and Naruto was a little distressed because there were still some scrolls that he didn't take away, because the scrolls were full. Naruto didn't destroy the remaining ones, so he kept them for next time. This knowledge is very precious, Naruto really can't bear to destroy it. Just stay with Danzo for a few years. I hope Danzo won't vomit blood when he comes back. Naruto didn't use too many ninjutsu to identify his identity, all of them are Earth Escape ninjutsu, let Danzo guess slowly. No wonder people say that robbery is the best way to get rich, it's true. For several days, Naruto did not see Sasuke. He should have entered the hospital just like in the original story. When Naruto left the root base, the Uchiha kids who woke up were also extremely shocked. Most of them opened their Sharingan on the spot after learning that the Uchiha clan was exterminated. 1 Magatama, 2 Magatama, and even some kids who had opened their Sharingan instantly became 3 Magatama Sharingan. Among these dozen people, the oldest was only 10 years old, but he had 3 Magatama Sharingan. His talent can be said to be very good. Unlike the second pillar, he opened 1 Magatama in anger when his clan was exterminated, and he didn't even know that he had opened his Sharingan for several years. He officially opened his Sharingan at the beginning of the original story. His parents and family were all killed, but he only opened 1 Magatama. After seeing Rin's death, Obito directly upgraded from 2 Magatama to Mangekyo. The gap between them is so big that the second pillar has become the object of ridicule by netizens. However, personal talent cannot be completely defined by opening the eyes. Sasuke's talent is still quite good, and the opening of the eyes of the Uchiha is more related to emotions. Naruto guessed that it was not entirely dependent on negative emotions to evolve, but it was difficult to have other strong emotional fluctuations except for negative emotions. After Naruto left the root base, Danzo returned to the root base and was immediately furious. His ninjutsu library was almost emptied, and the scene was almost full of traces of Earth escape ninjutsu. Except for a few traces of ninjutsu, they should be the root ninjas who stayed behind. Such a strong Earth escape attainment, basically only the ninjas of the Rock Village can have this ability. At this time, Danzo's good mood for obtaining the Sharingan was ruined a little. Regardless of whether he was a spy from the Rock Village, Danzo remembered that the only ninja who could have this Earth escape attainment was the Rock Village, and there was no ninja in the ninja world who showed super strong Earth escape attainments. Danzo looked at the messy root base. There were traces of fire escape and earth escape combined ninjutsu attacks on the surface. Although Sarutobi could also create the same attack, the third Hokage was with him at the time and it was impossible for him to come to the root to commit a crime. Investigate secretly. I will tear this thief into pieces. Danzo said to the root ninjas around him, his hands clenched so tightly that even his nails dug into the flesh. You can imagine how angry Danzo is now. Yes, Master Danzo. The root ninja knelt on one knee and said. These lost ninjutsu and some information, although not very important, are all important ninjutsu used to train ninjas. With these ninjutsu, more middle and upper level ninjas can be cultivated. It can increase the foundation of a ninja village. Although they can be rewritten, those ninjutsu are the collection of several generations of Konoha. How can he not be angry? The important ninjutsu and information were hidden by Danzo using sealing techniques. Danzo root also has a scroll similar to the Book of Sealing, which is used to collect some important ninjutsu and forbidden techniques. It can be regarded as a small book of sealing. As the Dark Ninja, someone actually stole it from him. Naruto faced the remaining little Uchiha clan members. After opening their Sharingan, they all shouted for revenge. They did not believe in Naruto at all, so Naruto could only convince them with virtue. After Naruto's Iron Fist, oh no. It was a sincere teaching, coupled with Naruto's ideological edification and spiritual suggestion, these little Uchiha clan members basically surrendered to Naruto. After that, Naruto sent these little Uchiha clan members to Shisui for ideological transformation again. After learning that the Uchiha clan was destroyed, especially when the murderer was Uchiha Itachi, Shisui remained silent. For the first time, he realized that it might be a mistake to give the hope of Uchiha to Itachi. Itachi was really instilled with will by the Konoha high-level officials, as Naruto said. Naruto-kun, you were right, this world is sick, and only you can save it. I will spread your ideas, and then gradually change the ninja world. Shisui said firmly again, his tone full of determination. Shisui, don't take too big a step. We still need to take it slow. We also need more talents to lead the development of the world. This world is not the world of one person, but the world of everyone. Our existence is to be a pioneer. One day, the world will change because of our ideas. Naruto felt as if he had become a big liar at this moment. It must be said that the people in the ninja world are really easy to fool. Almost none of them can be considered bad people. Of course, there is one exception, that is Danzo. Naruto thinks Danzo is a bad guy. Naruto knows that when the people in this world are exposed to new ideas and it triggers the beginning of ideological reform, then the ninja world will one day become what he wants it to be. Naruto looked at Shisui again and said, Shisui, how is the organization developing now? Hearing Naruto talking about the organization, Shisui slowly came back to his senses and said excitedly, Naruto, our organization now has 1 yellow talent, 5 green talents, 26 blue talents, 66 indigo talents, and a number of purple talents. Naruto created the umbrella organization, so naturally he had to design a complete framework. Naruto defined the levels of the organization with 7 colors. With red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and purple as the levels, Naruto is the top red umbrella, and the umbrella's ideology is also called red ideology. After that, it increases and decreases layer by layer. The lowest level purple is ordinary people. As long as you recognize the umbrella organization, you can join the umbrella and become the most basic purple talent. This is the lowest level of existence, equivalent to ordinary people. Indigo talents are some people with a skill or the level of genin. Blue is Chunin, green is Jonin, yellow is Elite Jonin, orange is Cage-level powerhouse, and red is the leader, that is, Naruto. The closer to Naruto's level, the higher the status, and the closer to the core. Naruto has also made some promotion systems. Some scientists can even be promoted to the orange level as long as they perform well. And for other ninjas, it is not only the combat effectiveness that can be promoted. Those with special talents can also be promoted to better treatment. Only with better treatment can the organization burst out better cohesion and development momentum. As long as you have talent, you can become a superior person, so Naruto feels that some necessary systems must exist. There is no order without rules. This is also the case in the world where Naruto lived in his previous life. From elementary school to junior high school, from junior high school to high school, and in the company, you can be promoted step by step. The same is true in society. After hearing Shisui's report, Naruto couldn't help but be a little satisfied. This force is no worse than some small ninja villages. There is even Shisui. There are no shadow-level strongmen in small ninja villages. And Naruto also gave some of the ninjutsu he got from Danzo to Shisui. It was the first time that Shisui saw so many ninjutsu. Naruto would not rob Konoha's ninjutsu. But he was more happy. With so many ninjutsu, more talents can be cultivated. They will not hide the ninjutsu. After the two discussed, they formulated a points system. Contributions to the organization can be exchanged for points, and points can be exchanged for most resources. How far you can do depends on yourself. After that, after learning about Shisui's development again, Naruto directly disbanded the Shadow Clone. Naruto, who was in Konoha, naturally knew about Shisui's development, which was easier than Naruto imagined. It is very likely that Naruto's red thoughts have a huge impact on the people in the ninja world. The road that Naruto has described is basically a real road of peace that can be clearly seen. So Shisui was able to develop the organization to this extent in such a short period of time. Many wandering ninjas are basically persecuted, and some are pure bad guys. Shisui did not absorb them into the organization. And Shisui used the country of waves as a base and began to constantly promote the idea of umbrella protection, and included a wide range of civilians in the scope of absorption, because Naruto knew that these people were the foundation. After all, ninjas are a minority, and more are these ordinary people. And these ordinary people, when entering the umbrella, are basically the lowest purple level, and when they have a skill or a more important skill, they can be upgraded to a higher level of existence. The most common level basically does not participate in the affairs of the umbrella, which is equivalent to registering an identity here with the umbrella. However, in Shisui's eyes, the future umbrella will be the ruler of the entire ninja world, and these people are equivalent to the people of the umbrella. After Shisui was instructed by Naruto, he began to focus on the combination of ninjutsu and life, no longer pursuing huge lethality, reducing the power, and changing the form of ninjutsu. This is very simple. After that, some ninjutsu were completely transformed. If some earth escape ninjutsu can be used to cultivate the land. The ninjutsu is lightly launched, which is comparable to hundreds of people. Ninjutsu used for labor is really the liberation of productivity. Shisui also began to publish the chakra training method under his rule, and Naruto was ready to popularize chakra in the ninja world. He was even ready to industrialize chakra. In Naruto's view, chakra is not only an energy that can be used in war, but it can help the residents of the ninja world live better. For example, the earth escape and rice planting technique improved by Naruto and Shisui. Use earth escape to build a smoother road. In this world, ninjas basically do not produce and rely on task money to earn commissions. The daimyo is responsible for part of the expenses of the ninja village, and the ninja village also has the responsibility to protect the country. This is also the reason why the daimyo is above the ninja, because the daimyo holds the lifeblood of the ninja, and the ninja also needs to eat. This is the one country one village system formulated by the first generation Hokage, Hashirama Senju. The daimyo and other rulers had to support it because Hashirama Senju's power was too terrifying at the time. There are pros and cons for the daimyo. Especially in the island country of Wave Country, a ninja who acts as a fisherman with ninjutsu can make a lot of money. AC level water prison technique, after changing the chakra form, can directly cover the fish in the water, and the harvest is much more than that of ordinary fishermen. Chakra is divided into form change and property change. The important thing is the property change, but the property change is basically studied by the Jonin. In the original work, Naruto's wind escape Rasenshuriken is the nature change of chakra. After injecting the attributellus spiral into the wind attribute, it becomes a wind escape Rasenshuriken. The form change is much simpler. Like Chidori, Sasuke's Chidori flow is a ninjutsu after the form change. The power has not changed too much, but it can be more convenient to fight the enemy. A fireball can be made bigger or smaller, or even square. These are all changes in form, and the power has not changed much. Some will also increase the amount of chakra used. Therefore, it is much simpler to reduce the power of ninjutsu and combine it with life, because it does not require strong power. During this period, Shisui also witnessed the changes in the Land of Waves. The original Land of Waves was poor and destitute, and it was a country without a daimyo. Shisui walked slowly and saw many people who condensed chakra. Some people may be old and may only be a genin or chunin in this life. However, after having chakra, you can learn the revised life-related ninjutsu, which can be used for plowing fields, even transplanting rice, and other purposes. Not everyone can extract chakra. If you can't extract chakra, you can also practice physical skills. Although this may be much weaker, this world is not the end of the law era in Naruto's previous life. The ninja world is not just about chakra, but more about the natural energy that permeates the air. In addition, the body cells of people in the ninja world are about 3 times more than in the previous life. After training, they can also obtain power far beyond Naruto's previous life. Master Shisui, you are here. At this time, a man came over and said to Shisui happily, and his behavior showed great respect for Shisui. His name is Keisha, and he was rescued by Shisui from a bad businessman named Cardo. When Shisui came to the Land of Waves, this man named Keisha was almost killed by Cardo. Shisui rescued Keisha and used this as a base to spread the red ideology. At the beginning, he encountered some difficulties and resistance. After getting the help of Keisha, Shisui felt at home in this village. The organization quickly grew and developed, especially after Zabuza joined. They also joined the organization one after another. After Shisui killed Cardo, he accepted him. After stopping the caravan and executing some bad guys, he began to guide the Kingdom of Waves to become prosperous. Because Naruto said that you can't just shout slogans without doing practical things. Only when others see that life has really improved, will they recognize you. Under Naruto's secret guidance, Shisui gradually had his own ideas about business and economic development. And he was also immersed in the smiles of others, which was the peace he expected. The Kingdom of Waves is not big. It only took Shisui a few months to take the Kingdom of Waves into his pocket. This was inseparable from the help of Keisha. Keisha was the stepfather of Inari in the original work, the one who was killed by Cardo. Keisha was previously killed by the people in this village. People call him a hero, and he is very popular. Now he is assisting Shisui in managing the affairs of the village. In the umbrella rating, his level has reached the blue level, which is equivalent to a chunin, because he has good management skills. As Shisui kept walking, more and more people kept greeting Shisui, because their lives now were all brought by Shisui. Shisui not only taught them to use ninjutsu to plow the land, plant rice, and use water escape to catch seafood. Establishing a caravan to sell goods, making the wave country rich, and hiring residents of the wave country to work, according to what Naruto said, this is called work for relief. And becoming a member of the umbrella can enjoy a salary that is 20% higher than that of ordinary people. Basically, all the people hired joined umbrella. Those who actually benefited from it increasingly agreed with umbrella, and coupled with the concept of umbrella, these people soon really threw themselves into the arms of umbrella. Even when Shisui was recruiting ninjas, after hearing what Shisui said, they burst into tears, claiming that this was the only way to truly bring peace to the world, that the people in the ninja world were not stupid, and that they had the thinking of adults very early on. They were just imprisoned by old ideas before, but after being exposed to Naruto's red ideas, they knew very well how big a storm this could cause, and they were willing to practice this path with their lives. The next day after learning that Sasuke was hospitalized, Naruto took Lee to visit Sasuke. Not only them, but most of the classmates in the class came. At this moment, Sasuke had changed a lot, and his whole body exuded a cold breath. Sasuke's appearance scared the female classmates in the class and they dared not approach Sasuke. At the same time, they felt more sympathy for Sasuke. Sasuke must have become like this because of a big change in his family. They put down the flowers silently and stopped to look at Sasuke. Sasuke looked at his former classmates, and his face did not change at all. Only when he saw Naruto and Lee, his expression moved slightly, as if he wanted to say something, but he didn't say it in the end. Seeing Sasuke's appearance, Naruto began to say, "Everyone, don't gather around. Uchiha Sasuke needs to rest." As soon as Naruto finished speaking, Iruka also said, "Classmates, go out and let Sasuke have a good rest." Everyone began to retreat, and Iruka gently closed the door of the room. The door clicked and then fell into silence. Sasuke hugged his knees blankly, his eyes were empty, no one knew what he was thinking, and finally he hung his head between his knees, tears slowly flowing down, his eyes full of resentment. The aura on his body also gradually began to become gloomy. Who knew that when he was told by the third generation that his brother had killed all the members of the clan, and even his parents were killed, Sasuke simply couldn't believe it. But he saw with his own eyes that Itachi was constantly slaughtering his own people, just to test his own capacity. How ridiculous. Can't the clan members be compared with the so-called capacity? A light of hatred slowly flashed in Sasuke's eyes, a touch of red jumped into his eye sockets, and a Magatama Sharingan. Suddenly a voice sounded in Sasuke's mind. Sasuke was sure that he was not mistaken, the voice sounded directly in his mind, not outside. Am I under an illusion? Sasuke looked around, and Naruto's figure slowly appeared. Just as Sasuke was about to speak, Naruto's voice sounded in his mind. Don't talk, be careful, the wall has ears, Sasuke, please calm down, this matter is not that simple. Naruto's voice sounded in Sasuke's mind. Do you feel a chakra point in your mind? Touch that point with your chakra. Forget it, I'll pull you. A suction force appeared, and the next moment, Sasuke felt himself being pulled into a space, and Naruto's figure had appeared in the space. Naruto, what do you mean? What is going on? Sasuke's emotions soon became slightly unstable, and Naruto found that his consciousness space became unstable. This is the first time I have seen this, it seems that I need to continue studying. Sasuke, think about it, no matter how talented your brother is, can he really kill all your people in such a short time? As soon as Naruto finished speaking, his furious look soon froze. Naruto's words instantly hit Sasuke's heart. Could Uchiha Itachi really kill all the Uchiha so quickly? Although in his heart, Uchiha Itachi has always been the most powerful, but his father and even some elite Jonin in the family were not so easily slaughtered. At this time Naruto said again, if it was really Uchiha Itachi alone, then how come not a single person escaped? Don't they have the ability to hold Uchiha Itachi back, or some to come and tip off? Naruto's words stunned Sasuke again. Yes, how could there not be even one person asking for help? As long as Uchiha Itachi was held back, others could come to Konoha for help. At this moment, he knew that there was a mystery in this matter that he could not understand. Tell me, what happened? Sasuke realized that this matter might not be as the third Hokage said. Calm down, you are too weak now. What will it matter if you know the truth? Naruto's slightly sarcastic words made Sasuke very unhappy. He threw a punch directly. Naruto stretched out his hand and held Sasuke's fist in his hand. With a light push, Sasuke was pushed back to the bed by Naruto. Sasuke's eyes widened instantly. He had always known Naruto's strength. Although he had always hidden his strength, he thought that the gap between them was not that big. At least he was not the kind of person who could be easily defeated by Naruto in one move. Don't show your emotions easily. Do you really think that Konoha has no support and really doesn't know what happened to Uchiha? Sasuke was stunned again. He didn't know why he didn't think of anything Naruto said. When Naruto mentioned it, he felt that everything was so weird. The case of his family's annihilation is really not that simple. Sasuke lowered his head instantly, and then said in the consciousness space, what do I need to do? Naruto nodded with satisfaction. He is worthy of being the second pillar. He just needs to be beaten. Otherwise, I always feel that the sky is clear and I am okay again. What you need to do is to become stronger and stronger, and then you will be qualified to explore the truth. Naruto said slowly, and then disappeared in the consciousness space. The two returned to reality and looked at each other. The half-open window blew the white curtains. The breeze brushed through Naruto's hair, and Naruto's sapphire-like eyes revealed a deep and mysterious. "I'll talk to you later, Sasuke-san." Naruto's figure flashed through the window. After Naruto left, a figure on the roof quickly disappeared. In the Hokage's office, the third generation exhaled a large cloud of smoke, then looked at the half-kneeling Anbu, and said, "Are you saying that Naruto went to visit Sasuke again later?" "Yes, third Hokage, but they didn't seem to be happy. Naruto defeated Sasuke with one punch. Uchiha Sasuke was very excited when he saw Uzumaki Naruto and suddenly hit Naruto." The Anbu continued. Uzumaki Naruto seemed to want to say something to Uchiha Sasuke, leaving only one sentence to talk to him later. The Anbu didn't know about the conversation between the two, so he told the third Hokage everything he saw. "Well, go down," the Sandaime ordered, and the Anbu used the instant body technique to leave the Hokage's office. "It seems that Naruto's strength is hidden." The third generation blew out a huge smoke ring, and then said softly. Although Naruto hid his strength, it was not surprising. Naruto had so much training, and it was not incomprehensible that he was stronger than Uchiha Sasuke. As the descendant of the fourth generation Hokage and Uzumaki Kushina, isn't it normal for him to have some talent? The third generation estimated that Naruto's strength should be around the elite genin. Well, if he knew a few more ninjutsu, he might be at the level of Chunin. Naruto is only 8 years old now. By the time he graduates, if he is taught carefully before, Naruto is likely to reach the level of Jonin before the age of 12. At the same time, as the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, he will definitely be a Kage-level existence in the future. And the third generation cannot let Naruto's strength improve too fast, otherwise it will be difficult to control. "I haven't had a relationship with Naruto for a long time," the third generation murmured, with a smile on his face. It was effortless for Uchiha, the great threat, to disappear, and he just moved his lips. The land of waves. Boom. A huge explosion sounded, and a mountain was blown apart. Great. Finally blew up the mountain. This is simply the power of God. Is this the power of science that Lord Shisui talked about? The voices of discussion continued to ring out, and the surroundings were filled with people from the land of waves. Uchiha Shisui stood in the distance and looked at the scene in front of him. The land of waves is an island country. Under his leadership, a bridge had been built to build a gateway to the outside world. Standing next to Shisui were the Uchiha kids that Naruto had brought with him. Now, after being brainwashed by Shisui, they have regarded Naruto as the savior. Only Naruto can save the world. After being influenced by the Red ideology, more than a dozen Uchiha kids have become more fanatical and have become Naruto's loyal supporters. Even the Uchiha from before. Instructor, now everyone has accepted the reality. And he is deeply immersed in Naruto's red thoughts. The thoughts brought by Naruto are definitely impactful in the ninja world. If it was before, he would think that Naruto might be a lunatic, but after learning that the Uchiha clan was exterminated, he felt that it didn't matter whether he was a lunatic or not. When he learned the news that the Uchiha clan was exterminated, the Grey World instantly enveloped him. It was Naruto and Shisui who gave him a new mission. That is to follow Naruto to change the world. It's a pity that his talent is not enough, and he didn't awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan, but his pupil power has become a lot stronger. His strength has also been promoted to the elite Jonin. Kisha, clear the rocks and build a passage, Shisui ordered. Shisui had already recruited some scientists. Although he didn't understand why Naruto recruited these ordinary people, after seeing the power of their so-called knowledge, Shisui's horizons were opened again. It turns out that ordinary people can also have the power to split mountains and rocks. The power that blew up the mountain just now was the power of explosives made by ordinary people. It is more powerful than the detonating talisman, you only need to increase the equivalent, and it can be made with some raw materials. No special techniques are required. Yes, Lord Shisui. Keisha answered enthusiastically. Keisha said to the people behind him, and then dozens of people stood up. Everyone clapped their hands, and Earth Escape ninjutsu inherited from Naruto was used. Chakra was injected into the ground, and the blasted rocks and soil were immediately cleared by everyone. Shisui looked at everyone with satisfaction. This is the organization's infrastructure brigade. It is so easy to use it for construction. Shisui is now more and more familiar with using ninjutsu in people's livelihood, not just in war. Liberating productivity can strengthen economic development. Shisui now understands it almost. If a ninja is put in Naruto's previous life, one person can be used as dozens of people. Under Naruto's guidance, Shisui established a chamber of commerce through the ability of ninja. It is called the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce. It mainly sells some aquatic products and food, weapons, and so on. Dozens of ninjas can easily catch a large number of aquatic products and sell them all over the ninja world. At the same time, there has been a breakthrough in the use of chakra to cultivate food. Not only has the output increased several times, but the growth time has also been shortened by nearly half. This made the wave country rich quickly, but under Shisui's development, the wave country is still a backward country in the eyes of other countries. In just half a year, the umbrella organization has grown again. After casting a wide net, they actually found several good chakra seedlings. Shisui put them into the school under the umbrella organization. The school is mainly under the charge of Zabuza. With the scroll that Naruto snatched from the roots, it is easy for him to set up a school. But Naruto will not hide his knowledge. As long as you have the ability, you can get what you want. Everything you want. In the umbrella team, ability is paramount, which makes the umbrella team full of enthusiasm, and the team cohesion is also extremely high. This time, Shisui is going to build a factory to manufacture weapons. After Naruto's guidance, he witnessed the power of the assembly line that Naruto mentioned, which was simply amazing. In the ninja world, technology exists, but the development of technology in the ninja world is extremely deformed. Some places are highly developed, while some places are extremely backward. For example, the Rain country already has high-rise buildings, and the style is a bit similar to cyberpunk. In the Fire country, most people still use horse-drawn carriages for travel. The Snow country already has trains. There are even computers in some places. But for some reason, technology in life is developing rapidly, but there is almost no development in combat. Maybe it's because of the existence of ninjas. When ordinary people encounter something, they basically pay ninjas to come forward. Ordinary people pay commissions. Ninjas are responsible for completing tasks, and in fact, the relationship between them is an employment relationship. In the past 6 months, the strength of the umbrella has been strengthened, and Shisui has absorbed some rebellious ninjas, and at the same time, some of the ninjas he has trained have also grown. However, among the rebellious ninjas, Shisui no longer intends to absorb them, because except for a few rebellious ninjas, some rebellious ninjas are often concerned by other major ninja villages, which may lead to early exposure. According to Naruto's development policy, they will accumulate food and slowly become kings. One day, they will burst out the power of the umbrella in the ninja world. They will eventually determine the direction of the world. After Keisha and everyone's cleanup, the mountain was soon razed to the ground. Although Keisha is old, his ninja talent is at the genius level, but it's a pity that he started practicing a little late. He has good leadership, so Shisui promoted him to be his deputy. Since the establishment of the assembly line, Shisui has also dumped some weapons and collected huge wealth. Previously, most of the ninja tools were supplied from the land of craftsmen, a small part was made by the ninja village, and some were made by families. The forging of ninja tools was very backward, and they were basically made by blacksmiths, with low production efficiency. The reason why Shisui was able to develop so fast was actually because he was not short of money. Under Naruto's guidance, it was too easy to make money. At present, the largest income is still seafood. After all, it is caught from the sea and has little cost. But what Shisui didn't know was that their development had attracted the attention of Mai Terumi. Recently, the sales volume of seafood in the land of water has dropped rapidly. The Hidden Mist Village, which had just survived the Blood Mist policy, has become the weakest among the 5 major countries. Mai Terumi is of course eager to develop the Hidden Mist Village, but she didn't expect that in addition to the missions, even the sales of seafood have decreased recently. The information on the table was collected by the Anbu. It was written on it that the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce not only established its own brand, but also had a series of promotional plans. What kind of membership system? Bundled sales, buy more, get more, and various marketing methods made Terumi had a headache. These twists and turns made her confused. How could there be so many ways to buy something? But Maid Terumi could also see the huge crisis contained in it. If this continues, the seafood market in the Land of Water will be completely squeezed out by the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce. The person who came up with these sales plans is simply a genius. Check it for me. See who owns this seven-colored Chamber of Commerce. Maid Terumi rubbed her head with a headache. Now the Kurigakure village has just abolished the blood mist policy, and everything is in ruins. Due to the previous blood mist policy, the number of ninjas in the Kurigakure village has dropped sharply, and even the number of missions has been reduced a lot. I wanted to rely on the unique seafood of the Land of Water to alleviate some of the Kurigakure village's economic burden, but I didn't expect that a seven-colored Chamber of Commerce would suddenly appear in the ninja world to snatch business. It's really not going well. Fortunately, it's not just my own ninja village, even Konoha is now in a recovery period. More than half a year ago, the Uchiha clan was exterminated, which shocked the ninja world. However, Kurigakure could not protect itself at that time, so even if Konoha declined again, Kurigakure would find it difficult to get some wool from Konoha. Other ninja villages are ready to move, but because the Third Ninja World War stopped for a few years, they are almost all in the recovery period. I heard that Keisuke Rasa went to Japan for gold in person to maintain finances. It's not much better than Kurigakure. The Land of Lightning and the Land of Earth are not much better, they are both in the recovery stage, and the ninjas in the village are also very war-weary, otherwise the Fourth Raikage might have sent troops to Konoha again. However, Konoha is still a lean camel that is bigger than a horse. Even without the Uchiha clan and the three ninjas, there are still major families, Ino Shikacho, etc. Time passed slowly. Two figures kept colliding, and one of them formed a seal with his hands at a very fast speed. Fire style. Great Dragon Fire Technique. A huge fire dragon spewed out from Sasuke's mouth. Wind style. Great Breakthrough. A powerful hurricane was spit out by Naruto, and AC level ninjutsu was used by Naruto with the power of a B level. And it was not just an ordinary B level. Wind style restrains lightning style, but fire style restrains wind style, and Naruto used C-level wind style to offset Sasuke's B-level fire style. Suddenly, dozens of shurikens were thrown over, and Naruto moved his feet and flew directly into the sky. Rain kick severed sky. Sasuke kept backing away and dodging the kicks. The air waves hit the ground and formed smoke. Naruto disappeared again, and when he reappeared, he was already behind Sasuke. He formed a seal again, and Sasuke wanted to release the substitution technique. At some point, a hand stretched out from under his feet, grabbed his ankle, and pulled him into the ground. Is this the Earth Escape Heart Decapitation technique? When was it activated? Shadow Clone. Smoke. After a short period of thinking, Sasuke knew what happened. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. During this time, he already knew how unfathomable Naruto's strength was. Shocking chakra. Super strong chakra control. And the terrifying attainments in physical skills, even the ninjutsu is terribly perverted. I don't know where Naruto learned the ninjutsu, and even he learned some from Naruto. Sasuke, I've told you before that ninjutsu doesn't necessarily require so many seals. You have to learn to simplify the seals. At this time, Naruto's laughter reached Sasuke's ears. Sasuke rolled his eyes at Naruto. He really thought that everyone had such a strong chakra control ability as you. Sasuke can now do 5 seals per second. Sasuke has also learned a little bit of Naruto's reduced version of the seal ninjutsu. Sasuke found that he couldn't do it with his current chakra control. Half a year ago, after being discharged from the hospital, Sasuke came to find Naruto again to ask the truth, but was dragged into a fight by Naruto. The final result can be imagined. Sasuke was severely beaten up. In the end, Naruto told Sasuke that even if he knew the truth without strong strength, what could he do? In the end, Sasuke had to obediently ask Naruto to teach him to practice. Although he had practiced physical skills with Naruto before, he only practiced together occasionally, and most of the time he went home to practice. And now he finally saw how terrible Naruto's strength is. Sasuke estimated that even the teachers in the ninja school could not be Naruto's opponents. Do you think everyone is a pervert like you? Sasuke said unhappily. He had only practiced climbing trees and treading water for a short time, and his chakra control was no match for Naruto. Naruto walked over happily and ignored the voice in his head. Wind style great breakthrough proficiency +3. Naruto got Sasuke out, then hugged Sasuke and prepared to eat. This time Naruto did not plan to cook for himself. He smoothed out the traces of training around him, and then led Sasuke to the Seven Colors restaurant for dinner. That's right, the Seven Colors restaurant is also Naruto's property and belongs to the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce, so naturally there is no situation where Naruto is not welcome. Compared with the original simple cuisine, the Seven Colors restaurant was passed down by Naruto using illusion. Naruto's cooking skills have long been practiced to a very advanced level. With some seasonings, although the taste is a little worse than what Naruto made himself, it quickly swept Konoha. Became comparable to Ichiraku ramen and BBQ. Ichiraku ramen and BBQ are only visited every now and then, and cannot be eaten as a staple food often, while the Seven Colors restaurant is almost full every day, which makes Naruto almost smile. The Land of Water. The Hidden Mist Village. Mei Terumi looked at the information that the Anbu had found out. The Seven-Colored Chamber of Commerce had emerged more than half a year ago, and its products and sales model were very popular. People in every place would unconsciously maintain the existence of the Seven-Colored Chamber of Commerce, because wherever the Seven-Colored Chamber of Commerce went, it would bring development opportunities to the local area. Most of the people in the Seven-Colored Chamber of Commerce were ordinary people, and there were also ninjas. At the same time, in Mei Terumi's investigation, some ninjas respected the people of the Seven-Colored Chamber of Commerce very much, and it did not look like an employment relationship. Because in the ninja world, even if it was an employment relationship, the employer would respect the hired ninjas very much. What Mei Terumi did not know was that these were all ninjas under the umbrella. After being influenced by their thoughts, they would not look down on ordinary people, and even respect them because these people had unique abilities. Each of these people became Naruto's diehards. They were all people in distress. After being rescued by Shisui, they joined the umbrella and became a member of the Seven-Colored Chamber of Commerce to earn money for the organization. After Naruto's relationship with the Nine Tails became increasingly friendly, he shared the Nine Tails' ability to perceive good and evil from the Nine Tails. This ability allowed Naruto to easily find out those who had malicious intentions towards him. Only if he has good intentions towards him, Naruto will give him a high position. Mei Terumi carefully analyzed the information, and she deeply felt that the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce was not simple. These systems alone were enough to prove that there was a very wise man behind the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce. These systems were simply a stroke of genius. This made Mei Terumi deeply interested in the person behind the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce. Come here. Following Mei Terumi's order, an Anbu appeared in front of Mei Terumi. Continue investigating the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce, I want to know more information about her. Yes. After the Anbu disappeared, Mei Terumi licked her rosy lips, her beautiful face revealed a hint of charm, and her eyes shone with a strange light. According to her current understanding of the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce, the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce must make a lot of money. If the Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce is taken under its control, the Hidden Mist Village will not lack funds for development. The Hidden Mist Village can also develop faster. The Seven Colors Chamber of Commerce, Mei Terumi is determined to win. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.